And good morning, Tradeify Nation, and welcome to another edition of Tradeify TV. It is Wednesday, June 18th, 2025. It is 60 minutes before the New York Open, and it is White Tea Wednesday here on Tradeify TV. It's time for us to get you ready for your trading day. We've got a lot to talk about today. We've got a special rescheduled guest today that we're going to get to. But first, I got to kick it over to my two favorite people in the world at this time, beyond family and loved ones, of course. We'll start with Mr. Swiss Nick himself. Nick, how you doing this morning?
Wait, I thought we are family and loved ones, Matt.
Oh, that's too deep. That's too deep for this morning, man.
Yeah.
I'm barely awake right now.
Good morning, everybody. YT Wednesday, my favorite day, obviously. Excited for the day. It's going to be nice, except for the fact that we have FOMC later. So probably a lot of sideways action, but let's see. Before we dive into any sort of chart analysis, as usual, I want to kick it over to our one and only curly, straight hair matcha mommy.
There's a lot going on. Yes, I have my matcha and I have my curls taking a break this week. So there's a reason for that, though. I can tell the story later. But welcome, everyone, to Tradeify TV. I hope you are all having a fantastic morning or evening, depending on where you guys are at. It is currently 5:34 in the morning here on the West Coast. So shout out to my West Coast traders out here. Put a W in the chat if you are coming out from the West Coast. Shout out to you guys for getting up this early. But we are so happy for you guys to join us today, and we are excited to just kick it off. We got a lot going on today. We got a lot going on this week. It's only Wednesday, but you know, we got to start it off with a bang. So let's get into it here. We got some stuff going on today. FOMC obviously is later on today. So why don't we kind of look at what we can expect for today, Matt?
Yeah, absolutely. So if we want to pull up my chart here, or at least my screen, I should say. I don't have a chart up right now. So guys, we showed you yesterday, or a couple days ago, I think, the volume tool here on the CME's website, cmegroup.com. Highly recommend you. There's a ton of free resources there, guys. You know, if you just want to know what a futures contract is or some of the very basics of that, I encourage you to check that out. And on the FedWatch tool here, so as it shows us, we are 5 hours, 24 minutes, and 35 seconds now away from the Fed rate announcement, which comes your way, of course, 2 o'clock Eastern time. That would be 11 o'clock there on the West Coast for the non-curly trader, but. Today, it's showing us, guys, 99.9% chance of rates remaining the same. Now, we're going to talk about what will be an inevitable fallout from that momentarily. So it would be probably one of the biggest shockers in my years of trading if the Fed did anything with rates today. As far as then the next meeting, so the next meeting is July 30th. They're projecting an 85.5% chance again of rates remaining the same. Now we got to get into September. In September, it's showing us basically 54.9% chance of a 25 basis point rate cut and a 8.3 of 50. So the majority of the money and the bets being placed at that particular meeting favor a rate cut. Now, going back to this particular meeting, the one we're going to be dealing with in a little bit, what's going to happen afterwards, right? So we know last week President Trump was taking some shots at now the person he now calls too late, Jerome Powell, the Fed chair. So far, Chairman Powell has sort of tried to stay above the fray with all this. I have no doubt he's going to be asked about this in his press conference. I think the press conference today, guys, is a bigger deal than the rate announcement itself. Again, barring just a huge surprise, we're going to be sitting there with the same rates later today as we are this morning. So how does the president react? How does Chairman Powell react to his press conference? There's a pretty good chance we see some sort of Trump tweet or whatever the hell it is, or statement or something to the media today about this. Now, of course, we have some major geopolitical stuff going on in the Middle East between Israel and Iran. So we're going to be keeping an eye on that as well. It seems like the U.S. is going to get pulled into this conflict. So it'll be interesting to see the reaction of the markets to that and everything else. So I got to tell you guys, it's interesting because, of course, we have all this fundamental stuff going on in this news. But as technical traders, man, we just want people to shut up, and we just want the charts to do what they do.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you said it really well. We had clearly, obviously, you guys, if you guys were on with us yesterday, you noticed that we weren't doing much in the market, right? In the mornings, as per usual, we weren't expecting much to happen, but we got a lot of headline news happening after we got off, and towards the afternoon and into the close. And as you probably noticed, the market obviously dropped. So it was, this is something interesting going into the Fed meeting. And to your point, Matt, from a fundamental perspective, we are looking at no rate hikes. I mean, no change, obviously, but in terms of this geopolitical tension that's going on, that's kind of where the eyes are going right now, and so it's kind of like, what do we focus our attention on, as if you are a fundamental trader? Now, as someone like me and most people that trade just price action and look at what's actually the reaction to the market, it does, it kind of puts things in a tricky place. But for me, on Fed days, from a trader's perspective, on days like this, I like to wait until the FOMC meeting. Not to say that we couldn't get some sort of move happening, but with everything going on right now, oil prices at their peaks, we're kind of looking at a potential for something to come out before the Fed meeting. So I've said this before, and I say this often, but always keep your head on a swivel on weeks like this, obviously with the contract roll and the volume changes, and obviously we have tomorrow off as well. So there's a lot going on, guys, and you just want to make sure that you are, by bare minimum, protecting your capital at all costs. That's always something that, of course, we want to make sure we are mindful of as traders, but especially on weeks like this, you have to look at, there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on in the markets, and you want to be prepared and make sure that you're not trying to, swing for the fences, getting this massive move, because anything can come out, anything can happen. And as you can see, that happened yesterday. So that's just, a little thing I wanted to mention too. And as we go into today, we're going to obviously give you guys our plan and what we're looking for. But keep in mind, there's stuff that could be in the works for in the news outlet today, and that's on normal FOMC days. I typically I used to like to wait until the actual press conference happens. That's usually when we get a decent move, and that's where I like to wait until the first reaction in the market is usually not the right reaction. That's another thing too, and so you got to wait until the press conference comes out.
So many fake outs on the first reaction usually, so definitely makes sense to wait. However, I still do hope that we do get some movement that is tradable before FOMC, because obviously we want to trade live for you guys. But as we have all this more or less negative news around the world right now, I also have some positive news. We found Coach Tank, and he's going to be on today. Finally, there was just a little hiccup on time zones because he's traveling, but he's going to be here today. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be super exciting. Also, we are going to have marble races, of course. I mean,
of course we are.
It's Tradeify TV. We're going to give away straight to funded accounts today, so that's going to be exciting. So for us to launch the first marble race, make sure to like the stream, because we're going to do the first one once we're sitting at, let's say 200 likes. Right now we're sitting at, let me refresh this really quick, 78. All right, so 200 for the first race.
I also see in the comments there, Boundless says, Matt, I took your suggestion and revisited the previous streams to see Tank's previous visits. Dude is so full of knowledge, and his personality is fabulous. I can't wait to see him today, hopefully. Yeah, I mean, he's here today in theory, right? Like, if he's not here, we'll play a game called Where in the World is Coach Tank? Based on, for those of you that grew up on Carmen Sandiego.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. That's how I learned geography growing up. Yeah. But yeah, so we will. He is supposed to be here today. He was traveling halfway around the globe, got his time zones a little mixed up. So I think we can, considering the high level of knowledge he's going to bring to the show, I think we can forgive him pushing back a day. So it's not canceled, it's just postponed. So we're looking forward to it today, especially because a lot of you have brought up, and as my fellow hosts have said here as well, it might be some tight price action today. So if we see a trade, we'll take a trade. But at the same time, I know, Miriam, you said when we were talking before the stream, and I'm the same way. can't tell you the last time I've traded on an FOMC day. It's just there's too many unpredictabilities once the number's out, and before that, it seems like the market's just asleep.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting too. I feel like the past few FOMC meetings we've had, we haven't really gotten much action. We did have one, and I can't recall which one. I think it might have been the last one, but you know, markets were popping off, and there was no, unless you had gotten in so early, it was almost impossible to catch an entry. And those are also frustrating too, because you're just watching the market, you know, pop off in a certain direction, and you're like, I don't want to chase this. I know that's going against my rules, but you know, you can't help but try to get in. So, you know, it's one of those where a lot of times what we see is, at least from what I've remembered from the past FOMC meetings, is like we don't get a lot of movement. And then, you know, the moment that Chairman Powell will, you know, leave the stage, essentially, then the market tends to make a move. So it's kind of one of those where you just have to sit and watch. You know, sometimes you'll get a move, sometimes not. But I really encourage everyone, don't try to front run it. Don't try to front run and try to predict a side. You know, again, we're not in the market to make bad habits here and try to make a big buck just from, you know, one trade. So if you're going to go into today trading, I really, really highly encourage you guys to just lower your position size. Don't get blown up. This is not the time for that. You're not going to sit. You're going to sit really regretting that. And I promise you, I come from experience, because I've traded many FOMCs, and a lot of them haven't gone the best because I've YOLO'd into it, right? But yeah, just make sure you're careful on days like this. I typically don't trade on FOMCs. If I do, I am, you know, very, very you know, risk off. So, you know, something like today, I hope we get a move. I really do. We have some good setups, in my opinion, but again, just on days like this, you want to be extra careful.
Yeah, I think we're all guilty of a YOLO in our.
Oh, for sure.
Wait, you're not supposed to YOLO?
Not every day, man. Not every
it's
day.
Full Port Wednesday, baby. Full Port FOMC.
It's YT Wednesday, dude. Read the memos.
I'm sorry. I don't read memos, man. I got into trading so I wouldn't have to do things like read memos and shit like that. That's why I'm in this business. So then naturally I joined a company like here where we have meetings and memos. But that's okay. I get to work with you two amazing people and our behind the scenes team, so it's all worth it. Mama Investor 24. I'm so happy I found you guys. I've learned a lot in the last 2 weeks, especially being patient with my setup. Well, we're happy to have you. Thank you for being here. For all of our regulars, I see you here in the chat. I saw Leia earlier. For all of our regulars, there's Vola. Good morning. Thank you for being with us. And yeah, guys, it's oh, keep in mind, I was gonna say I had a point there and I forgot it, but it reloaded. So tomorrow, no markets, no show, no markets. So tomorrow's the Juneteenth holiday. It's one of those holidays. There's not many of them outside of like Christmas and New Year's, which, you know, we usually are winding down our trading at that point anyway. That's a floating holiday, right? It's assigned to a day and not like, you know, Memorial Day, Labor Day, that's always a Monday. So it always, you know, it's a newer holiday, or at least newly recognized. So it's all the stuff around it really hasn't been baked in, and we don't have a lot of data for how the markets are trading around there. And it's very unusual. I can't remember in my trading career the last time we had a holiday right after an FOMC meeting. So guys, keep in mind the last couple of hours, especially the last 90 minutes from the time that Jay Powell takes the stage to the time the markets, or at least the New York section of the markets close, it could be very, very chaotic. So just be very, very careful today, guys. And yeah, this is, we don't know what, we'll sit here expecting maybe a lot of chop and maybe we get a nice move and we'll have some opportunities, but I think it's one of those we'll hope for it, but we're not going to hold our breath. Otherwise, this would be a very short show.
Yeah, also two additions to that. Obviously, for people who look at market holidays and stuff, like tomorrow, the futures markets are still open until 1 p.m. EST. But as Brett likes to call it, you're a degen if you still trade it tomorrow. And the other thing, quick shout out to Living Like Chess. She said that, or he or she said, the Marble Race account that they won last week is passed. Going to take it to payout. Big W in the chat.
Wow, nice.
Congrats. Good work.
Golf clap.
Yeah.
You get a golf clap for passing an account. You get a real clap for taking a payout.
There you go.
I want to see the real clap.
Well, you guys know what to do this time. If you were on the stream yesterday, you know the jumping jack ritual you got to do. So
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I
it works
think
for one of-
Boundless took it a little too far. I think with the naked jumping, like that's the
hey,
I mean,
deep
whatever
throat.
wins, I guess. But
Well, if it works, it works, I guess.
All right. Well, we made it 18 minutes without this show going off the rails, so I think that's a positive for today.
Always.
It is. Let's actually go to the charts and look at what we're seeing for today. What do you think?
Absolutely. Why don't you take us through it there, Nick?
Yes, sir. It's funny because I was looking at the charts earlier. First of all, the London session here was pretty trashy because it goes from, like, my trading time during the London session is from 3 a.m. EST to 5 a.m. EST. And if we look at the charts from 3 a.m. to 5 a.m., I mean, 3 is here and then 5 is here. It was literally choppy as fuck throughout the entire session. I was just sitting here waiting, like fidgeting around with my fidget spinner, doing nothing. And then I close my session and I see the chart popping off and then giving us that huge downside move with at least like 3 setups that I could have taken. So I'm a bit annoyed by that. Anyways, here's what I'm looking at for today. We still are chopping around that previous week mid-level. Guys, I'm mentioning this level all the time. You hear me all the time. This level is so important. If you don't have that on your charts, make sure you use the indicator Spaceman BTC key level. It's a free indicator that you can just put on here. Super simple. But we are looking, or on the 50-minute chart here on NASDAQ, what I'm looking at also is this trend line from the Monday 11 a.m. down to, like, we had a touch point here at 1 p.m. and then we had touch points here at Tuesday, 12:30. And I expect this to hold for now, at least until we have some results from the FOMC meetings. Then I think, not sure, Mary, maybe you dive deeper into that later, but you do have a trend line from the bottom coming up, an uptrend line. Not sure about that. But for me, everything is still the same as it was on Monday, because we didn't really have any big moves. I mean, if we look at this Sunday's open here, we were about 200 points away from where we are now. So we are in this big range, kinda, which, again, we said it on Monday already. Like, these ranges tend to happen when big news are coming out, and we have FOMC today. And obviously a lot of uncertainty due to the war, to the news around that, etc. So for me, again, I'm not bullish, I'm not bearish. I have to wait and see how price reacts today, especially after the open. Important levels, of course, previous week mid, previous month high, and then the daily open. So those are my 3 key levels for now.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I have similar trend lines. I know you and I, Nick, kind of we trade similarly in terms of looking at trend lines, and I know you like using the 1 minute chart. The 1 minute chart is something that I don't use too often, but I do have on on watch. So I like to use the 2 minute and the 5 minute when I'm actually looking at my trades. But I'm going to zoom out here on the NASDAQ. Let's go to a 1 hour chart here, so it's just a little bit easier to see. You can see that previous day was right here. This was the block that we're looking at for previous day, and as you can see, we kind of stayed in the previous day's range from Monday's range, right? But then as we're looking at the 1 hour chart here, we have some really nice trend lines. These are actually 4 hour trend lines. So when you're talking about trend lines, the higher the time frame, typically the stronger the trend line. So what I would expect is we do, if we're bouncing between these trend lines, I would expect, unless there was some sort of catalyst or whatever it is, I would expect a bounce rather than a break. And as you can see here, that level on the NASDAQ would probably be sitting around this 21,950 area, all the way down, or all the way up to this we have bookmap sellers, actually a strong level of bookmap sellers at 2230. And so you can see here we had a nice rejection on this previous candle, and I would expect some resistance continuing back if we get back into this area. But right now, this is kind of the zone that I'm looking at, right? And so again, I don't expect much to happen. But again, if we get some sort of catalyst, obviously we have FOMC later, I would expect either of these to break, in which case you know, I'm not gonna lie, I don't really know which one I like more. Of course, I'm gonna say I like the bear one. What's new? But I like the downside break better. But we do have, you know, this 90-minute support zone sitting down here. So I think if we get below previous day low, which is, you know, sitting at this 21,860 area, I think we have some room down to this 21,780 and then all the way down to fill this gap. So if you guys heard me talking about gaps in the past, I love playing gap fills. I think these are one of my favorite plays to take because we get a lot of movement and reaction in these gap plays. So you can see here, this gap is related to the contract rollover. So this was on Sunday, and so obviously when we had this move to the new contract, we had this nice little gap to the upside. So typically I would expect a reaction in this area. Now, are we going to get there today? I don't know. We might revisit this at some point, but I would expect some sort of reaction, whether it is a support zone here or we go in and actually fill the full gap. Gaps tend to fill. They don't typically fill sometimes they fill all the way, sometimes they fill halfway, sometimes they fill partial. So it's just one of those areas that you want to highlight, and I think we'll reach that at some point. Again, I don't know if it's going to be today, but I do like the downside. Some upside plays here. You know, if we can pass this 2230 area, we have room up to 65. And then we have this supply zone, 2-hour supply zone that I would expect some resistance at. Again, higher time frames, you tend to have higher chance of rejecting. So 2-hour supply zone sitting from 2296. I'm going to call it 22,100, the same level that we were dealing with yesterday, all the way up to 22,130. So this is also previous day's high that we're looking at here. So this is kind of the area that we're playing with. And of course, this is the 1-hour time frame. So there's always something to be taken on a smaller time frame. And right now, you know, on both futures, I like to see that we're both in sync. I'm going to go over ES really quickly. We are above VWAP on both futures right now. ES squeezing a little bit tighter than the NASDAQ. Those levels on ES are going to be to the upside 60-60. I want to see 60-50, the same area that we kind of played around with yesterday. And then to the downside, we have room, you know, below yesterday's low. And then of course we have this pretty light demand zone. I don't expect much of a huge reaction here. If we just get a slice through this, we have a lot of room to the downside. The 6,000 level is always going to come into play. Please mark this level. If you guys trade ES and you don't have 6,000 marked up on your charts, I don't know what you're doing. You need to have that marked up. So I would expect you know, some sort of reaction on the 6,000 level if we get there. But again, this is kind of the zone and area that I'm looking at on futures.
Excellent breakdown. Excellent breakdown. Yeah, and the NQ analysis can be simply done that the NQ is moving back to 22K like a toxic X, right? Like, come on, bro, she's just not that into you. You need to move on. Move on to 23,000, move down to 21,000, whatever, but just you need to get over her. So I don't know, guys, maybe we call up NQ, we have them over. You know, just get him really drunk and you know, maybe get him to text her some really nasty stuff so she doesn't come back like I never loved you or anything like that. But I mean, we'll know it's a lie, but yeah, it's sad to watch a good friend like the NQ just keep pissing away his life by going back to the same old level.
Yep, exactly.
Yep,
I'm sorry if that hit close to home for a few people.
Go feel that, guys.
Yeah,
we also hit we're at 222 likes, so I think we're ready for a quick little giveaway here before market open. What do you guys think?
Let's do it.
I think we do it. I think we need to see. I'm just curious to see what soul-sucking race that Drew has decided to pull up today to torture as many of the marbles as possible.
We had a 99% death rate on one of them.
That was cruel.
There was one winner.
I can't wait. It's going to be great. All right. Actually, we're going to do our first marble race here for 2 straight to funded 25K accounts. All right.
Gotta love those straight to funded accounts.
Dude, winning a straight to funded account is honestly a cheat code to your life as a trader. Because you can literally start trading and make money. Because with straight to funded accounts, 10 trading days, you get your first payout if you meet the target and consistency rule. So super easy to make money from this, and it's free if you win. So here's how we do it. As usual, you have to make sure you like the I can't speak today. Come on. You have to make sure you like the stream, you are subscribed to the channel, and you have to type the keyword that I'm going to drop in a second here. And you only have to type it once, okay? Don't type it twice. Don't type it 3 times. Don't type it however many times, because it will get you disqualified, okay? So just simply one time. And I actually need to, I just realized I need to set this up with Drew here in the back end, the keyword. So in the meantime, Mariam, explain why is your hair not curly?
Oh my gosh. It's really not this major story.
Oh
but
no, you
I will
hyped
say,
it up. You hyped it up. So if it's not that interesting, make something up.
No, okay, I will say. So I visited a head spa over the weekend. Okay, if you've never been to a head spa,
Not touching that
Google
one.
nearest head spa in your area, because I promise you, if you're someone who likes massages and head scalp massages, all that, oh my god, it is like one of the most heavenly things. I was just sitting there and like the girl was just like scrubbing my scalp and like giving me this massive, just super nice, relaxing, nurturing massage. It's honestly such an underrated service, and I just feel like everyone needs to experience that.
All right.
So, it was one of those where she washed your hair and like did this like deep dive and keratin treatment and all that. And then, I was like, you know what? And she straightened it for me. So I just left it. And that's the story. That's the story.
All right, there we go. And we have the keyword here. So we're ready for that too. By the way, Matt, Joker13 is asking for the ritual for the win today. What
Joker, didn't you win yesterday, Joker? You won yesterday. You don't get shit on the rituals, man. Come on.
All right, guys, the keyword for today for the first marble race, 225k straight to funded accounts. The keyword is FOMC space day. Okay, FOMC day, a space between the 2 words. Only type it once, and make sure you like the stream and you subscribe to the channel. Let's go.
Oh my goodness, there it is. FOMC day. 2 words, guys. 2 words. If you misspelled FOMC, you're kicked off the stream. Like you don't even get to participate in the stream. Because I've seen 3 people misspell FOMC already.
How can you misspell that? It's 4 letters.
And it's literally, we say it, FOMC.
Dude, sometimes.
FMOC. Come on, guys.
These people just don't want to participate. Actually, let me participate too.
Okay.
One day.
I'm not sure you're getting in. We might be close to the...
Yeah, Joker13, that's definitely not how you pronounce it. FOMC. That's more like the British version of it. Speaking of British version, we're going to have Coach Tank on at 10:30 a.m. today.
I like that transition.
Yeah, that's a good segue right there.
It's going to be amazing. You guys get the opportunity to ask questions, and I'm sure he's going to dive into some pretty cool psychology and mindset stuff. Today he's actually going to show up. It's not a prank, not like yesterday.
Well, I don't know. Let's be careful here. For all we know, he's flying to Antarctica or something, and he's like, oh, I didn't know what time zone I was in.
Well, all right. I'm not going to promise then.
He'll go down to the South Pole. He can just run in a circle and be in all the time zones at once.
Paraloco saying the next keyword is dyslexic traders. Oh, dude.
Oh man. See, this is why people come to this show, because even on a day where we're expecting some shit price action today until FOMC, you get some damn good entertainment here, as opposed to, I'm not going to call anybody out or anything else, where people are just like, okay, we're moving up now.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing anything here. We're moving a little. No, now it's going back up. I'm not calling anybody out, but I kind of am. But it's yeah. See,
okay, we can do that here.
Yeah, we have conversations about head spas and curly hair and white tea Wednesday. Like, yeah, this is why you come to this stream.
You got to be diverse, Mm-hmm. So many topics to cover.
This is probably the most diverse stream out there.
Very true. All right, guys, you can
not put like 3 most different people on the stream.
Very true.
That's
very
true. That is very true.
You guys can stop typing. The marbles are ready to be launched. And of course, as usual, we're going to get Matt's countdown on this.
All righty, guys. We are ready for our first marble race of the day. The first 2 people win a 25K straight to funded account. Let's get them. Get on your blocks. Get ready to go. And let's go in 3, 2, 1. And they're off.
You still need to work at an auction house, Matt.
You should do like a horse derby race.
So I've been watching this show, because after the show, I take my dog for a walk, feed the cats. I'll take a peek at the market, see if there's anything interesting. Then I make a quick lunch, and I'll sit down for about 20 minutes. And so I always like to find old sitcoms to watch during this time. And I found it last year or so, I've been doing like newer sitcoms, and I found one called Letterkenny, which is like a Canadian thing. It's really funny. But there is a character in there who is an auctioneer, and every one of his lines is spoken as an auctioneer, and it's really, really funny.
That's just his conversational way of speaking. That's awesome.
All right, let's check the leaderboard here. We have Donna in the lead, Francie Scalping in the lead. Oh, still in the lead. Holding on. We
got people flying off here.
But Francie Scalping is still in the lead. Jesse James, dude. Get off that leaderboard.
No way.
Get off that leaderboard. We got
James was on it yesterday, I think, or the previous day.
Yeah, the previous day. He's always there. That's the problem. We got Mr. Wolf in there. Good morning, Mr. Wolf. We have Jesse James again. Come on. If you win. Francis Scalping. Jesse James. No way. Oh, short boss traded to Chart Slayer. This life we live. Pepe.
I think Jesse hacked Drew's computer. That's the only explanation.
Or it is Drew. Drew is Jesse James. Oh, I think we're gonna have a winner here very shortly. I think that's the finish line. We have coming from the other end. Damn, that name is long. The heck? So Savannah, is it Savannah Sam, the navigator? Congrats, your first place. And then whatever, however I spell that, but BOUCIQTU. You both won a 25K straight to funded account. Congratulations. Make sure to type something in the chat really quick, and also add your email address into your YouTube channel description so we can actually reach out to you and send you your free code.
Congratulations, guys.
And that was just the first marble race. We have more today, so stay tuned.
There's Savannah. Nice.
There we go. Congrats.
Yeah, we got more, guys.
We have way too many finishers in this one, Drew. We need to kill half the marbles next time.
We need a 99% kill rate.
Yeah.
Well, we were doing who came in last.
Yeah,
so
true.
That's
how Joker won yesterday.
Yeah, he was the last to finish. So I got a question for you guys, and we can kind of go around the horn here. I'll answer it and then pass it to you guys. So on a day like today, ultimately trading guys see a setup, take a setup. We talk through all that, but we do go into certain days. We're like, okay, in theory, with what's going on, we should have a tradable day today, or today is not necessarily. I don't know that we're expecting the best price action today. Now, maybe we get it, right? If we see setups, you'll see us take them. But how do you guys approach a day like today? Because for me, I need to detach a little bit. So like, obviously, we do this show, so I'm going to be here. But if this were a day, and I wasn't doing this stream, I would probably watch first 15 minutes, just take a 5-10 minute break, come back, mark some key levels on the chart. And again, one of the things I like about TradingView, there's pluses and minuses to every platform, but the ability to set alerts on your chart that then hit your mobile, and I've done latency tests on them. It's almost instantaneous. So I'll label levels, and if a level gets tripped, I'll come down and assess the chart and go from there. But for me, on a day like today, if I wasn't doing the stream, I'm just trading my account, I've got to be careful about staying in my seat for too long, because I will try to talk myself into something. So I don't know if that's something you guys deal with as well, or just in general, how do you approach days like today?
Nick, go for it.
All right. For me, it's just honestly a lot of patience, because I go into these days and I expect to take nothing. I expect to not trade anything, but if my setup shows, I will still take it. because sometimes there are still very nice setups for me that I can take, and then I trade them as usual. But I just go in with the expectation that nothing is going to happen, and I'm just going to be sitting here, fidgeting around with the fidget spinner, and I'm just going to be waiting. I still like to show up because I like to see how the market is moving. I like to see how the market is reacting to things. So I'm still here, I'm still watching it, but just not expecting to take a trade. And by having that mentality, I'm not disappointed if I don't get to take a trade, but I'm even more surprised and happy if I get to take a trade. So that's kind of like my approach to it. What about you, Mary?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is kind of, I know we're dealing with unique circumstances here, but I think it's the same situation as, like, to your point, Nick, like, if you see a trade, take it. But at the same time, don't sit there and try to force something just because it's a unique day. There's a lot of good setups that can come out of getting a certain catalyst. And for me, I told you guys in the beginning, like, there's really one of two trades that we can take here, or two trades depending on what we get. Like, I'm looking at it from, if this works out for me, then I'll take it. And yes, the catalyst of FOMC kind of it might help, it might complicate things, but because of that, I am aware of, again, my position sizing. I think two things. One, it's always good to, have a plan. Always have a plan. Like, figure out what is it that happens, what is it that I'll do if X happens, right? If I'm gonna look at taking a trade, what is my best case scenario? Now, the other side to that coin is how well I'm gonna be managing my risk, right? If I'm expecting a volatile day, and I'm expecting a possibility of massive swings, right? Where we might see after FOMC that we get, maybe 100-point candles, who knows? It's just a unique day. So it's taking your plan, but also managing your risk at another level. We're working with unique circumstances. So I think if you have those two things set, then I think, you can't beat yourself up for taking a trade that doesn't go good for you, right? It doesn't go in your direction. It's just that you manage your risk, and you took a setup that you liked. So I think on days like this, it's, yes, these are not the days to sit and try to find a trade. These are the days to say, all right, if X happens, I will do this. If Y happens, I will take that. But at the same time, understanding that it is a unique circumstance, and you just have to be well set up for it. Or the other option is to just say, you know what, I don't even want to trade today. And that's also an option, right? We don't have to be trading every single day. We don't have to catch a move. A lot of FOMC days, we don't even make a move, right? So I think it's just one of those days where you have to decide what kind of trader you are at a core, right? Are you the type of person that is susceptible to blowing accounts? Are you the type of person that, like, always gets the FOMO, I have to chase, right? This might be a great opportunity for you to just sit back and let those feelings, settle in there, right? Maybe this is a good learning day for you to just be like, you know what? I'm not going to trade today. Or, you know what, maybe I'll trade, instead of 5 micros, I'll trade 1 micro, and just let that work out for you. These are great days to blow accounts, but these are also great days to build discipline. And so I think over time, you just have to look at it from that lens. It's not about, oh, I'm going to make all this money today, because you can easily lose it as quickly as you made it. So it's just, I've learned over the years, there's always another day to trade, guys. If you don't catch today, it's absolutely fine. If a setup doesn't work in your favor, that's also fine, because guess what? The market's not going anywhere. So that's, I think this week is just one of those weeks where you just have to be careful regardless.
Yeah. I agree, and it's one of those things. Like, listen, guys, I've said this before in the stream. I think it's great when we have some great action. We can take the trades together, make a little money together. But at the same time, like, we're not going to do that just for the sake of doing it. And I think it's if nothing else, we need to lead by example with not only the trades we're taking, but the trades we're not taking. Now, some of you out there may have systems or strategies that work, or that you expect to produce a good amount of setups today. by all means, and please share your successes in the chat with us. But at the same time, I'm hoping that the market surprise us a little bit today, and maybe we get a nice 60, 70, 80 point push up or down, or 15, 20 handles in the ES, etc. But yeah, FOMC day, guys. And again, I don't remember. Somebody can look this up if they'd like. I wouldn't say waste your time, but I don't remember a day the markets were closed for a holiday the day after FOMC. So it's from the FOMC to the FOMC press conference to the time they're going to shut down the futures for the night could be very chaotic and crazy. Guys, full porting and YOLOing, I know, that gets a positive connotation in this industry, mostly propagated by people that don't work for the companies in the industry. But in all honesty, guys, be careful today, especially if you're in a funded account or your personal live account or a live account with Tradeify. Just be very, very careful today. This is a day for smaller position sizes. You make it to the end of the day, maybe you put a few $100 in your pocket. That's a damn good day on a day like today. So just temper your expectations. And sure, the market could make us all look dumb by, really run in one direction or another after the open. But I'm just, again, we have a bias, we have a thesis, we have a general understanding of what we think is going to happen going into the open. That may get rearranged very quickly, and that's fine. That happens quite often. But still, I think the word of the day today is caution and just sort of seeing how things play out. I think Friday we could see some great price action on Friday, and between then going into next week, obviously we will probably have some sort of resolution as far as to whether or not the U.S. is involved in the conflict over in the Middle East, and in what capacity. And then we'll have obviously the rate decision by Monday. We'll know. The rate decision, we'll know Chairman Powell's press conference, we'll know how the president reacted and how things accelerate from there. So it's going to be we are in, I know, story of the year, right? We are in a highly volatile fundamental market, which means us as technical traders, we've just got to be careful, or you're going to get run over by a damn train.
Yeah. Don't want that.
I mean, no, you really don't.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it's one of those where as a trader, you start to really, like, once you get the experience, once you start really sitting with yourself and having a lot of trade or not just putting on trades, but just chart time, right? You start to develop not just an intuition, but you understand the patterns that happen. And, it takes a few market cycles to really understand what sort of patterns unfold on the charts. And even for me, I'm 5 years into this, a little over 5 years into this, and there's still stuff that I'm learning about this. And I think that's why I love this field so much, because not only does the market not care about, who you are, your social economic status, if you're a man, woman, whatever, it doesn't care about that. Everyone has a same level playing field of making money. And at the end of the day, it's all about who you are as a trader. There are certain people and I will say this, trading is not for everyone. Trading is not for everyone. And if you are the type of person that, you cannot control your emotions, you cannot sit with yourself and heal the sort of trauma that you have with getting emotional over certain trades, like, trading will teach you so much about yourself, and in ways that you don't want to hear it, and if you're the type of person that you can't sit with that, then this is not a field for you. And this is, it's one of those fields where, like, you can surpass so many types of income, like a doctor's income, a lawyer's income. You can make that kind of crazy money so quickly. And I think that's, the beauty, but also the curse behind trading, because once you start getting a feel for that, it changes you as a person. And so you have to be mindful of how you are showing up on the charts and what your why is when you're trading. Why are you doing this? And I know everyone's gonna say, oh, to make money, but why? For what? Are you making money simply just to pay off a car note? Or is this something that you want to develop for your future family? Are you trying to make create a wealth for your family over time? So it's something to consider. And, again, I'm not trying to get too deep into this. I know we have Coach Tank going on, today to really get into this, but it's just something I want everyone to be aware of on certain days like this. This is just one piece to the massive puzzle that you're looking at on FOMC day. This is not a day to just YOLO and get all in and try to make, $1 million overnight. No, this is a marathon, guys. Like, we got to look at this from the perspective of this is just one day. So if you don't trade today, if you don't trade the rest of the week, that is fine. it's absolutely fine. I promise you the market's not going anywhere.
Yeah, that's very true. I kind of learned that the hard way, but I realized like when you're trading on a specific day, let's say today, and you're down $500, you really want to make back that $500. But if you look at the grand scheme of things, what Miriam just said, if you look at the marathon instead of the sprint, and then you look at this day today, but 3 months from now, you're not even going to remember the losses that you took today. You're not even going to remember the trades that led to these losses. You're not even going to remember the bad feelings, because you will have made up for it, unless you keep trading and then you lose 1,000, and then you keep trading and you lose 1,500, and then you keep trading and you lose 2,000, and suddenly a small red day is kind of like a big fat punch in your face, or as Matt likes to say, a train ran you over. So don't let the trains run you over. keep the red day small. That is the whole key to trading, in my opinion. But it took me a long time to learn that.
Yeah.
I see Noah there. They internally debate the morality of trading. That's a deep statement. I have no problem with the morality of trading. And on some days, if we as retail traders are doing good, 9 times out of 10, we're taking money from trillion-dollar institutions. I'm 100%. My morals are not ticked by that at all. So. No, this is honestly, guys, as far as like ways to make a lot of money fairly quickly, it's probably one of the more moral ways and legal ways to do it. So, yeah, that's there's I don't see any issues there, but I think, and especially guys, as the markets in general become sort of more and more detached from kind of the economics and the economic reality, it just gives us opportunities. I mean, there is. I would argue, the traditional wisdom, right? And I heard this 1,000 times in the past years. My fiance and I bought our home, but that the way to generational wealth is to own a house, right? And there's a ton of truth to that, and getting a house, building up equity, all that, which is unfortunately a situation which is further and further away from people my age and younger. But at the same time, like I would argue that being fluent in the markets is even more so, right? Whether you're obviously we're all futures day traders, and with with companies like Tradeify, there's opportunities to make a lot of money without putting out a lot yourself, which guys a few years ago just did not exist, at least not widely. Okay, and so I will. You could see in the next 5 to 10 years, people talk about. I mean, there's always going to be the home conversation, all that, but it is being fluent in the markets, from futures day trading to managing your own 401k or IRA to options, and I started as an options trader, Miriam. I know you did too, and I still do that in my personal IRA, and so I think it's even more important now to be fluent in financial markets in general, specifically in both futures and options, for somebody who's really kind of looking to climb the economic ladder. So, I mean, there's really no downside to at least learning as much about all this as you can.
Also, Rajiv Jacob saying, or asking, what does a day trader offer the world besides liquidity in the markets? Don't think about it in terms of the direct impact that you have on the world by clicking buy or sell. It's what you do with the money that you make. Because let's say you become ultra rich, or even just very, very wealthy by trading, right? Now you have hundreds of thousands or millions, or however much wealthy or rich means for you, right? Now, if you take that money and you do good in the world, that is your impact that you have with trading. You don't have to look at it like, for example, a doctor who directly helps a patient and that person immediately feels better. You can take the result from your trading and have a positive impact on the world. And I think that's a very important perspective shift when you're thinking about, or when you're internally debating the morality of trading.
Love that. I love that, Nick. That is such a good point, because our relationship with money depends on what our experiences are. Money is a tool, right? Money is a tool, like a hammer, right? You have a hammer. What are you going to do with that hammer? You can either build a house, or you can break a window. So it depends on how you're using that money. Are you going to use it to build other people, or are you going to use it for something that, isn't worth, isn't building society in any sort of way? And it doesn't even have to mean that, you're using that money. It could be for your family, it could be for your kids' college fund, it could be for buying a house, whatever it is, right? Like, money is a tool. And I think, like I said, when we're talking about trading, when we're talking about this industry, there's upside potential. It doesn't look at the market, doesn't know who you are, right? It comes down to how you manage yourself as a person and manage your trading itself. The fact is, trading itself is simple. Trading, like being able to put lines on a chart, being able to look at patterns, that part is actually not the hard part. If you gave someone, who had no like knowledge of trading and just said, hey, when this comes to this point, when this price comes to this point, press this button, they'll be able to be robotic and do that. They have no emotional investment in it. And that's the problem, is that people get too emotionally invested in their trading and the monetary outcome. That's when they start to lose, instead of focusing on the actual process. All right, did I implement my plan? Did I stick to my process? Did I trade with patience and discipline? That's the part that'll actually bring in the profits, right? Do you have a repeatable system that you can literally take in your sleep? And if that's the case, then you're setting yourself for success in this market. So I love what you said about that. Money really is a tool, and it just kind of depends on what you're going to do with it.
Yeah, and guys, I in my prior sort of segment of this particular education career, I as I've alluded to, I've worked at a variety of different places, including larger institutions and for education arms of brokerages. So I've met like a lot of people that have a lot of money. I mean, people that would look at some of the top streamers out there and and the money they make and be like, oh, that's cute, right? Like those kind of people. And I can tell you this, it is true. I mean, I'm not going to debate the morality of people that have trillion, billions, or whatever. We're not going to get into that. But the money doesn't make the person, right? There are people that I know that make a ton of money that are just miserable SOBs, truly miserable human beings. Thankfully, at least some of them don't take it out on other people or make other people miserable. But then there's people that make a lot of money that like Nick said, it's not always about just like, oh, I'm going to donate a lot of money or do this and that. How about just let's keep it a little more simple. Being able to have the time freedom to work 2 to 3 hours a day, put food on the table, put clothes on the backs of your family, pay off the house, do all that, and just being a decent, good, productive member of society, right? Mm-hmm. And giving into the system more than you take out, right? And I don't just mean money, I mean time, energy, all of that. That's what this is all about, guys. And I will say this, and I say this as somebody who does not have kids, who is not planning on having any kids, that people with kids that they truly love and adore, which is 99.99999% of all parents, do really well in trading when they can keep focused on that, right? Or maybe you're a younger person, you don't have kids yet, but you got your husband or your wife, you really want to help provide for them and give them a good life. Guys, really keep your mind. And I know this sounds like a lot of drivel, especially some of you younger people. You may be saying, no, I just want that Lambo. And there's nothing wrong with that inherently, right? But I will tell you, the people that really stay with this and stay focused are the ones who are doing this for a bigger purpose. And I know we're going, maybe we're getting off the entertaining, humorous portion of the show by kind of really centering this down, guys. But this is important. And when you have a purpose in anything that you do, I don't care if it's trading. My fiance is a huge animal person. She's volunteers in animal shelters, does drives for adoption agencies and all that, and does home visits to make sure an environment is suitable for a rescue dog or cat or anything like that. And there's purpose in that. She doesn't make any money off that. In fact, it sucks a lot of time away. But there's purpose in that, and there is something to be said, guys. For you put your head down at the pillow at the end of the night and you say, you know what? I fucking did it today. Mm-hmm. Right? Like I took care of my business, and there's not enough, not to go all, in a society or anything or back in my day, but that's something that is truly, I think, missing in the post-COVID world. And that's not to blame a person or a politician or anything like this, because it's very popular to blame other things and other people for difficulties in our own life. But guys, there's just something to be said for just taking care of your business, truly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh wow, I love that. Yeah, I have to meet her one day. I know you won't.
That's
let that
never
happen for
going to
whatever
happen.
reason.
No, you two will gang up on me. That will absolutely not happen.
What? You can't take the heat? What's the problem?
I know, because I get it from you on stream, and then I'm done, and I get it for her for the rest of the day. So
It's okay.
no,
It's
you two,
okay.
you know, I lock, you know, no, she's never getting your email or anything. I don't want I don't
I'll
want
find
you
her.
to get
Women are
fired.
good at that. We're FBI agents. So you can't stop us
Better
from
than the
finding me.
FBI.
You joke, but she says the exact. No, y'all are too alike. No, not happening. Not
Right.
unless I can call your fiance and talk about you.
Guys,
You know
we
what?
have the market open coming up in 3 minutes.
Oh yeah.
I don't
Oh,
wanna
this is a market show.
interrupt
Yeah,
your,
sorry.
Saved by the almost bell here.
don't want to interrupt your fiance conversation, but we also should lock in here.
Nick's like, shut the fuck up.
Hey, I put
all
it in
right,
the
all right.
newsletter.
Let's lock in, guys. Let's lock in here. All right. So I think for me, like I said, there's always something that can be taken, right? On the Nasdaq here, I kind of zoomed down to the 5-minute chart. I want to see this reaction here at VWAP. I want to see what we're going to do here at this 21,985 area. Same thing with ES. ES is also above VWAP. VWAP, girl, bye. VWAP. I think one of the things that I look for is, well, for me to get my words right, but another thing that I look for is futures to actually be in sync with each other, right? And right now, VWAP is kind of that source of truth, I want to say, for me when I'm looking at whether or not futures are in sync. And right now we are above this purple line right here you see on my charts, that is VWAP. We are above VWAP. Now, I did notice as I was going through book maps here, we do have an area of resistance here on ES, some orders sitting here at 60.55, and coincidentally, this is actually the same area where the seller zone would be hitting. So lots of area for compliments here. We have the trend line, we have the book map sellers, and we have the sellers zone. So what I would be expecting is some resistance in this area. Now, I would be kind of surprised to see if we just push right into this with no sort of catalyst or whatever, and watch probably might happen, but I would expect a sort of some sort of resistance in this 60.55 area on ES. That similar area is going to be sitting around this 22.30 zone on the Nasdaq. So these are the sort of areas that I'm looking for. Of course, you can see, you don't have to be a technical analysis to see that there is a trend line developing on the 5-minute as well. I call this trend line inception. We have a trend line within a trend line. So again, VWAP would be the area that I would be looking for to break to the downside. 22.030 is going to be the area I look for a break to the upside.
Yeah, and really quickly, we're less than a minute from the open. I just want to address Sig's comment in the chat. I appreciate that, Sig, but be very careful about putting too much pressure on yourself. Anytime I hear the word need in trading, it throws up a red flag for me. Don't get me wrong, I'm rooting for you. You're here every day. You're going to be learning. Just give yourself a little grace in this journey. You'll get there, but it is going to take some time. So, all right, guys, we are 30 seconds from the opening. Y'all know what that means.
Oh yeah.
That's the white t-shirt thing.
You're ripping off on me, Nick.
All right, 15 seconds. Biblical, find that mute button really quick.
Yeah,
Can
mute
unmute
it up.
yourself in 10 seconds.
All right, 3, 2, 1, ding, ding, motherfuckers. Let's go.
Nice.
All right, breaking. Wow,
There goes
breaking
your trend
with
line.
vengeance. Just sliced right through VWAP there.
It says fuck your trend line.
Literally. We are trying to hold this 4-hour trend line here. I told you guys this is a strong trend line here on ES, so we are trying to currently trying to hold it. But let's see what this reaction is. We also have some bookmap buyers. Well, we did. It kind of went away now, but I would expect some reaction here at 60.30 on ES. But look at that nice tap to that trend line on ES. Really got sucked up there.
That was also a nice area of consolidation at 7 a.m. right there that we tapped into. So if we do get the upside, I would expect it now.
Lots of sellers keep stepping in here on ES as well. This 60.45 area it's like a solid wall of sellers.
And just almost right back to the 22K. I miss you, baby.
And to the previous week mid.
Yeah.
Sitting right there as well. Literally, previous week mid is 21,998.75. So it is the 22K level.
Yeah, this 60-45 area I expect to be a source of resistance here. 60-45 to 60-50 here on ES. Lots of sellers on book maps. It's also an area of actually, yeah, just lots of selling pressure here. I want to see this reaction here at 34 on ES. Also the pre-market low on the NASDAQ. I want to see how we're gonna react to this area. That's also where the trend line is sitting. So
the pre-market and the low on Nasdaq is sitting at 21,862.63.
oh, I'm sorry. Well,
oh, you mean that low there at 21,950?
yeah, I see what the overnight low is sitting at this 21,860, but I want to see what we're gonna do here at this 50 zone. I don't typically do this, but I might actually enter a trade here.
Ooh.
Do it. Do it now.
I'm gonna look at my thing too is, you know, we're flirting with this trend line here on both futures. Ideally would have liked to retest back into this area. I don't really love entering shorts here at the bottom, but we'll see. We're getting heavy selling coming in here.
Want to join them?
I do. I very much do, but
there's still a pretty strong wick right there. Okay, never mind, ran through it.
We're entering this support zone as well.
Now we're sitting at like yesterday's open, 6 p.m. open.
Yeah, not getting the pullback I want, guys. I don't want to chase this, honestly.
I mean, the Asia low is 21,862.
Yeah, really fighting not to chase this. This is one of those where it just, yeah, just want to wait. I'm just gonna wait. Because also too, I mean, if we can get into this zone here, this is probably a stronger entry. I know it seems so far away. You know, we're talking about like 70 points or so, but the bottom of this, the 21,860 area is really what I want to see break, and that's going to be a level that I look for. But right now, I really want this retest. We're not getting it.
Nope, just a straight flush.
Completely missed that. The weird thing is, Bookmaps isn't showing the market pulse isn't showing strong selling pressure at all. It's just the sellers just keep stepping in. So that's just kind of what's weird too, is we keep selling, but the pressure isn't that high to the downside. It's a very odd to see, because typically when I see something like this, I would expect the market pulse to be high, and I don't see that. Let's see. Yeah, let's see if we hold this area here, this 34. This was the low here of the pre-market, so I want to see if we can actually hold this level, which it looks like we are. We are retesting this trend line as well. The problem is if I get in
on NQ, just as a little input here, NQ's yesterday's low was 21,908, so I expect that to be a pretty strong level as well.
908, yeah. So right now I would ideally like a retest back into this 42 zone. With a, you know, a stop, I would have a stop above like 45 for a short. But right now we're seeing some buying coming in here on ES. I think 45 would be a strong level to have to break. But let's see. We are still getting the selling pressure here. I think if we break this low, I'll enter for a light short. but I would like to get a retest.
Retest of what? Sorry.
41. I want to see a retest of 41.
All right.
NASDAQ retested that trend line beautifully.
It did.
Still getting buyer step in here at this 38 on ES.
See Polar Jeff asking about educational material in the channel. I mean, I'm not going to speak for the company and what we're going to put together. That may be something we do in the future. But again, the CMEgroup.com has some very good entry level education as far as contracts and some very basics of technical analysis on their website. Highly encourage you to check it out.
I think longs are actually going to try to step in here. We might retrace back into this 60 area on the NASDAQ. That's the mid zone, right, Nick, that you keep talking about?
No, previous week mid is 22K.
Oh, okay. I don't know why that level seemed significant, but
that is wait, let me check. I think
yeah, I think these longs are going to come in here. Be careful if you're short. I would watch 6C45. Buyers are really stepping in here. NASDAQ on the, well, we don't really have any resistance on the NASDAQ until 2237. So retesting VWAP here on ES. You know what? I'm going to take a small short here. Small entry on a short.
Are you in?
No, I'm not in. I'm not in yet. I'm just waiting for this potential confirmation because I would like to enter on this, but I'm seeing some buyers stepping in here.
That 21,960 level, by the way, Mary, I'm sorry. I got lost in a thought there. That's yesterday's close.
Okay.
That's why probably you had it as an important level.
Okay, I just took a short here on ES. I took MES, so I'm gonna set a stop at 45. I'm gonna set a stop at 46. So I'm short MES. I'm in 5 contracts here. Let's see if I can show this here. So my stop is sitting here at 46. I'm in a light position. Buyers could probably start to add in here. I like the retest of VWAP here on the 2-minute. So I see a lot of sellers here at 45, which is why I entered this position at the retest of VWAP. I want to see a pushback down here below this 36 area. So I'm happy with this trade. If we can push down below 36, I think we have room down to 30.
Let's hope we can get it. So no specific target yet?
No, my target is 34. So I'm going to actually take off 2 here at 35.
Got it.
All right, let's see how this plays out.
Banging our head on VWAP here.
Yep.
All right, let's see how this plays out. I do keep seeing buyers stepping in here. The reason is I see a lot of these sellers here at this 45. I do see buyers at 37 as well. So we might tap 37, but I'm going to keep my, you know what? I'll take one off at 37 if we get there.
ES is much weaker than Q, it seems like.
Yeah, that's why I took ES for the short. I'm not really liking how NQ is.
No, NQ is just
stronger.
Trying to make its way back up there.
Yeah. And NQ, the thing is too, NQ doesn't have any sellers until this 37 area. So if we start pushing up on NQ, this ES short is not going to be looking too great. But I think if NQ starts to pull back here, I think it'll pull ES with it. So let's see.
NQ has gotten a little bit of a push there. NQ now sitting at VWAP.
It's going to make you sweat this one out, isn't it?
Oh, probably.
Looks like a Nick trade where you just have to wait for 30 minutes.
It is what it is, guys. But while we wait for that, I think, you know, if you guys have any questions, I know that Coach Tank is going to come on in about less than an hour here. So if you guys have any questions, make sure that you have them in the chat.
Yeah, Zysoff asking an interesting question there, and I actually know the answer to this one because it's not a Tradeify question; it's a CME question. Can you short MES and long MNQ? Absolutely. Those are two separate instruments, so you absolutely can do that. You can do that in a live account if you'd like. You know, if you have multiple live accounts, personal or whatever, those are two separate instruments. Now, can you in your own account, can you short EMS and long? You cannot do that. Or even if you have two separate personal accounts, I'm not even talking about Tradeify, and you go short one instrument and long in another, that is against CMA rules. And if they catch you, they will ban you from trading. So, but as far as those are two separate instruments, you can take whatever positions you want in those.
We're currently trying to reject the VWAP level here on the NASDAQ. Buyers keep stepping in though, so they're not really letting up.
Yeah,
ES
I'm not speaking about prop rules, guys. I'm speaking about CME rules. So if prop firms have different rules, that's on them.
We're closing out the 50-minute opening range here in 1 minute and 35 seconds. And I have that feeling that we're going to get stuck there.
Probably.
But
I'm so low risk on this. Like I'm barely up like $30 on this play, but
yeah, it doesn't matter.
It's like these are the days where you don't like. It's like if this goes south, it's not going south very much. You know, it's like what are you? Maybe I think I might lose. Let me calculate that actually. 46.25. Okay.
It's pretty much 1 to 1, right?
On that first take profit, yeah. But I'm shooting for
more after.
For bigger, yeah. I'm shooting for 10 at least on my runners. Let's see how we react at this 45. Those buyers got taken out, or those sellers, I mean, got taken out. So 47 is now entering as a level of support. Let's get the 5 minute here. Well,
Joker, we talked about all of that in the opening 10 or 15. We'll review it for those that weren't here for that in a little bit, but we want to wait out this first 30 minutes here.
All right, we have the 50-minute opening range established here. It is sitting in between 21,996.75 and 21,926.50 on MNQ. It's not that big of an opening range, like 70 points.
Yeah, NQ is still pushing up against VWAP here. ES is above it. ES is above it. We still have some resistance here at this. Now we have resistance at 47. So I'm risking like $100 on this trade if I'm wrong, but hopefully making, 150 plus on this trade if I'm right. So we'll see.
Which we hope you are. I mean, you can't lose with the white tee on.
This is true.
Well, you just cracked the code of trading there, Nick.
Well, now, I've been profitable ever since I wore a white shirt.
You fucked up giving that away. You should have put that in a $10,000 course.
Imagine saying you buy a $10,000 course. There's one video in it. It's like a 10-second video and it just says, yeah, just wear a white t-shirt.
Yeah, there you go. So someone said, why enter shorts after sell side liquidity swept? So I agree with you. This area that held was a really strong area. The reason I entered shorts is not only because we were testing VWAP, but because we were really testing this 50% resistance on this drop. So typically I like to enter shorts when I see at least 2 areas of confluence, which is what I saw. You know, NASDAQ right now is still kind of struggling with, and this might take me out, which again, I'm not too concerned about this. This is something that I would take and I have taken in the past, and it has worked out for me. So, you know, for me, it's obviously, you know, not every trade is going to work out as you see fit, but I also saw a lot of sellers sitting at this this area that we're trying to touch into right now. So that's why I have my stop where it's at, because if we just zoom past this, then you know, obviously buyers are really stepping in. So this could have been something, if you would have caught this here for a long, obviously you're making a lot of money here, but I was taking the chance that we might actually you know, reject at this VWAP level, and I just got stopped out here. So my loss on that is $109. So am I gonna go cry about that? No, of course, because this is again a trade that I would take day in and day out. Buyers are now buyers are stepping in. So 60-50 is that area I'm going to be looking for on ES to potentially break.
Now we're sitting at the top part of the opening range, which is, funny enough, previous week mid and 22K level. So we really need some buyers to break through that.
Yeah, 22,000, and then I see this 22,037 area, which is not really seeming like there's a lot of sellers stepping in there. So we might actually break up above these highs.
I love that comment. Enter the battlefield and all the smiles vanish. Yeah, Mocha Trader, that's it. When it's time to go to work, it's time to go to work.
Unless chat says something funny, then the smiles are all back on.
Oh, anytime you can do something, guys, and that you enjoy and it makes you smile, that's a good thing as well. But yeah, you know, there's times for a little laughter and some levity, and then there's times to just buckle down.
Very
Yeah,
true.
we got a nice candle on this buy side here. I expect us to make new highs here. The only thing is this resistance zone at 55 here on ES. And then NASDAQ still kind of has a ways, honestly.
Yeah, there's
stronger
room.
here.
I would like to see some sort of a consolidation here and then take a bull flag entry.
But this is also a reason not to chase, right? Because as we were seeing this push to the downside, I mean, unless you literally got in right at this trend line break, which you would have had to get in like in a microsecond or already have an order sitting there to the downside. And then if you were targeting this trend line or below it, then you know you would have made a nice profit. But the problem is, you know, you don't want to try to chase something that's happening. That's why I was waiting for a retest at the 50%, which we got. But and we looked like we were trying to come back and break, but you know, obviously bulls took the win there.
Yeah, Boundless says, yeah, not convinced the buyers. Yeah, I get that. Again, guys, just because we started the day with a nice little kind of micro trend down, a little bit of micro trend up. I mean, I don't know that my outlook on the day has changed at all. I mean, again, you just look at the percentage change from yesterday's close. We're 0.2%. That's like, you know, a rounding error, basically, you know. So just, you know, sometimes days like this, you get some nice moves up, nice moves down. Some days you're just barcoding all over the damn place. So it's you know, be ready for your opportunities. Take them when you see them. And other than that, like I said, it's you shouldn't be in any kind of hurry on a day like today, or any day, to be fair.
Moises just lost an account. Well, because you broke rules, or what happened? Give us more context.
Yeah, we do need a little more details there.
See if NASDAQ can get above this. I want to see above 2020
Yeah, that would be nice.
or 22,020. Good Lord.
Well, we could just say 020, honestly. Everybody will know what we mean.
Yes, thank you.
Otherwise, we start saying 21 again.
Yeah, yeah. It just felt right. It just felt right to say.
It did. Let's actually set the next target for the next marble race, guys. We're sitting at 463 likes. Let's get the stream to 550 likes, all right? So smash the like button right now at 550 likes and 10 a.m. We're going to do another marble race for more straight to funded accounts. So smash the like button right now. And while you're at it, subscribe to the channel.
Nice push up here.
So again, a reminder of the schedule today, guys. FOMC rate announcement will be at 2 p.m. Eastern time. Not going to be a lot of drama there, although we always see an uptick in volume and volatility. Chairman Powell will have his post-FOMC press conference at 2:30 Eastern. That's when the fireworks could start.
Yep, and an additional thing in regards to the schedule, we have Coach Tank coming on at 10:30 a.m. EST here. So in about 38 minutes.
Tank Tuesday on a Wednesday.
I hope he wears a white tee.
Ooh.
Only if it has buttons.
Yeah.
Only if it has buttons that can open, you mean?
Yeah.
Nice push here on the NASDAQ.
Very strong push on NASDAQ.
Wow. We're getting into the supply zone on ES. Let's see what we do in this area here.
Really hate these pushes where you don't find an entry, because I'm so eager to buy this, but I don't see an entry, so
Yeah.
can't buy it for now.
Just gotta wait for a pullback.
Yeah, what Dr. Yu says. NQ's flying. Give us a retrace. I'm waiting for that. Give me a bull flag. Come on. Nasty NASDAQ.
Nasty NASDAQ. That was funny.
I've heard it referred to before as the NASDAQ.
No.
Because that's how it acts.
That's fair.
Well, that's certainly a NASDAQ right there.
It looks like it wants to go. Only thing is this area. I think once we get above 30, it'll feel.
What do you think of this area? If you look at my chart here, Mariam, really quick, what do you think of this high that pretty much correlates with the downtrend line? I feel like this is going to reject heavy here, but
Ooh, well, just as you said that.
Good call, Nick.
Never mind. Never mind.
Somebody said Trump is talking in the chat. I don't see anything on my news feed yet, but that doesn't mean it may just be, if he's walking to a Marine One, or if there's some sort of photo op, or if he's doing a press conference related to all this stuff. So, yeah, Trump, if Fed would lower rates, we would buy debt for a lot less. So he's already going in on the rates.
That is the retest of the 50-minute opening range here. Let's see if it holds.
Rejecting this.
I will say, guys, I know there were a lot of people last time I brought this up where I said I think he's going to try to fire Powell this summer. It's like, oh no, Powell's term is up. He can just replace. Listen, I don't care if you like Trump, you hate him, whatever. Doesn't matter. Tell me what we've seen in his 2 presidential terms that makes you think that patience is one of his strong suits, right? I mean, in all seriousness, and I know people who that doesn't matter, right? Like, he's not a patient dude. He wants something done. He wants it done immediately. So you really think he's going to wait till I think it's next spring to try? He's going to do what he's going to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trump reiterates Fed should cut rates. So for source for news, I use the trade exchange. 1E between trade and exchange again, and as I always say, I do not have any sort of business relationship or affiliate relationship with them beyond being a paying customer. They're pretty quick for the money. I think it's between like $60 and $70 a month for their various feeds. They have a squawk, which I don't turn on, obviously, during the show. But it's pretty quick. You're gonna, pop or drop. They're either gonna say there's news or they're gonna say no news on this. There's a lot of it's 80% stock news on individual stocks, but like it's given me Trump's comments and all. I do recommend it.
Flirting with this 22,000 area for now. What are you looking at, Nick? I'm curious what you're looking at.
I'm waiting to see if we actually hold the 50-minute opening range here. If we hold the upside, which is the 22K level basically, and if we do, I want to see a bull flag shortly. And
James
then
just searched
enter long, but until then, just waiting.
Yeah. Okay.
James just searched the trade exchange news. Even if you spell it wrong, it should pop up.
It seems like we're holding that 50-minute opening range high.
Yeah, I wouldn't be initiating any sort of longs here just because of ES's resistance zone here. We popped right into it. Just not able to get above it.
Where's ES sitting at right now? Can we look at your chart really quick?
Oh yeah. 60.55 is that area of resistance that I would be expecting some.
So you're sitting right at that trend line, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In relation to the ES2, the SPX is sitting just below 6,000. That's obviously been a very, very key level.
Good point.
Chelsea Roner asking, what do you consider holding it? Like what would tell you it's holding that opening range? Well, basically, if we don't dive below anymore. So, for example, if we go to my chart here really quick, right now we had this, where is it there? We had this really strong push to the upside, right? Outside of the 50-minute opening range, which is here. Then we had a retest of that. And now what I mean by holding it is I want to see price stay above that 22K level. As soon as we do this, we're not holding that range anymore.
Yeah, lots of resistance here to deal with. I think Nasdaq has some room, but yes is gotta prove something.
Wait, I just got the info that you guys couldn't see my chart. Here I go again. This is my chart. So again, we had this really strong push, right, from the daily open. Then we had a retracement back to the 50-minute opening range, which is pretty much right here, sitting at the exact number is 21,996.75. So we retested that, right? And as long as we're holding that level, what I mean by hold is we stay above with the price and we don't dive into it. As long as we hold that, that's what I mean by holding it. And as soon as price goes back down, right, and it starts to basically retest VWAP even, then I'm not considering that a hold of the 50-minute opening range. Hope that clarifies it.
Yeah, I think we're gonna try to reject here. This isn't looking too convincing.
What you're looking at, shorts now or what?
I wouldn't be looking at shorts for me personally until I think we're just gonna reject in this area. I want to see us get back below VWAP on NQ. I think NQ now is the weaker of the two.
That's a new 4-hour candle here.
Last one.
It's a new 4-hour candle that we just opened.
Yeah. ES still rejecting that trend line here. 60.50 has to break here on ES. I'm going to be watching this for a short below VWAP.
PMPFX, I do not trust Head and Shoulders on the 1 minute on NASDAQ or ES. It's just way too unreliable. I back tested it actually. I don't know the exact stats that I got, but it's not working. At least for me. Maybe I see it different than you, but.
Oof. Lots of selling pressure coming in here. See how we react at VWAP here on the NASDAQ. Nice. 75 needs to break here on the NASDAQ. Trump's talking, right? I'm assuming.
He has been. I don't know in what context. I haven't looked that up yet, but he's talking about rate. He thinks the rate should be 2 points lower.
While he is talking, why don't 8 more people hit that like button? Next giveaway?
Nice segue. Very subtle.
Merging view up here. I feel like
Boundless.
Nasdaq wants to go and ES is just holding.
Yeah, boundless. No, I don't consider that a break of the 15-minute range. I consider that just a retracement into the 50-minute range. A break is always to the upside or the downside, like breaking out of it, you know? So for example, that was a break outside of the 50-minute opening range. And if it comes back out now again, that would be a break of the 50-minute opening range. But price going back inside is just a retracement into the 50-minute opening range.
Yeah, Powell says he's scared for his job. Yeah, it sounds like he's coming for you, Powell.
Springer cap. All right,
turn that money printer back on, Jay Powell.
We're sitting at 570 likes. So what do you guys think? Another marbles race?
Let's do it.
Let's freaking do it.
Okay, accounts. Let's do it. Let's do it. We have the keyword already. I'm gonna just type this out for Drew really quick again. So
what a hold on VWAP, guys. This is why you wait.
Yeah, VWAP holds.
Bulls and bears are fighting.
And we're just watching. All right, we're ready for the next marbles race, guys. As usual, once Miriam drops the keyword, she has to drop that keyword. We are gonna have you guys type it once in the chat. Okay, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times, just once, because otherwise you are gonna get disqualified. You have to make sure you have liked the stream. You have to make sure you're subscribed, and then type that keyword that Miriam is gonna drop right now.
All right, guys. The keyword is head spa.
One word, guys.
Here we go.
There we go. Turbo Skeeter said keyword is Dr. Phil.
Oh God, please no.
All right, guys, head spa to participate. The first 300 are going to be participating in the next marble race for 25K straight to funded accounts. It's a strong push on Nasdaq.
Yeah,
there.
what an annoying price action this is.
Give me an entry. It's everything I need. I always find it so funny thinking about somebody just joining the chat for
They're like, what?
the first time, and they see head spa, and then like a minute later they see some random weird ass marbles racing on the screen. It's like, what the hell did I join here?
They pop in here like, what are you doing?
Oh no. What are you doing? Oh, that's awesome.
Let's see.
Iran willing to negotiate. Yeah, the Ayatollah at the White House. That'll get some. Yeah, that's a good idea.
All right, Drew just let us know. Our producer Drew, shout out to Drew. He just let us know that this marble race has an 80% death rate. So good luck surviving that one.
ZA says, just did my naked jumpy jacks. Look out, world. I'd say more look out your neighbors, but you know,
close your windows.
Whatever gets you there, man. If Zed wins, we're gonna get like a lawsuit because there's gonna be 1,000 people like doing naked jumping jacks.
All right, guys, you can stop typing head spa. We have the marbles ready here, and as soon as Matt gives the countdown, we're gonna race for 25K straight to funded accounts.
All righty,
Do it.
guys. We are locked and loaded with the marbles. Let's let them go in 3, 2, 1, go.
Somebody got a head start there. Phil knows them in the chat. Jesse Roner in the chat. Well, dude, in the lead, but also in the chat. Horizon Trades in the lead. Jay Voigt, the nuke trader. Oh, Horizon Trades back in the lead. Let's see.
This one's kind of fun.
This one is kind of fun. I wish I could be a marble. Seems like a fun roller coaster to be in.
It really does. It's got lights and everything.
Let's see now. Oh, who's in the lead here?
I don't know, but Drew's trying to give us all vertigo.
Can't read it anymore. Is that the finish line down there? Oh yeah, it is.
We're starting to lose them.
Yeah, people are dying. People are dying. Damn. Oh, that's why there's an 80% death rate. Oh, we have a winner. We got a winner. Right there. That's Horizon Trades. Horizon Trades, you got a 25K straight to funded account. Congratulations. Let's see who gets the second one.
Still no second finisher. I don't know how he got ahead that far.
Is there going to be another winner or not? Come on. We need a second one. We do have a second one now. Let's go. Let's go. All right. So Dev Trades is second place and gets a 25K straight to funded account. Make sure that you guys both type something in the chat so we know you were there. And also make sure only 7 people survived. Damn. And also make sure that you add your email addresses to your YouTube channel description so we can actually reach out to you and send you that free account code.
Yeah, Zed, my marble died. You didn't do enough naked jumping jacks.
Yeah.
That's it.
Sorry. Sorry. Congratulations, guys.
Price keeps going up on NASDAQ.
Yeah, we're slicing through this supply zone here on ES. ES completely reversed from being the weaker one to now the stronger one. Or 2250. 050 is going to be a form of resistance here on the NQ.
Ooh, great question in the chat. And I don't know if this is tongue-in-cheek, but I'm going to treat it as a serious question. I was told by my family to stop trading because they said I'm gambling. What are your thoughts? Well, if you're just randomly YOLOing in and out of things without any rhyme, purpose, or no setups, then yeah, that's exactly what you're doing. But if you're putting in the work, you're learning your setups, you're learning your very basics. Everyone, guys, I always say start with Steve Nison's candlesticks, N-I-S-O-N. He's the OG of candlesticks. Start with Mark Douglas and the Disciplined Trader. Lay your foundation of your career that way. And if you're doing that, and then you want to move into volume profile, TP, whatever, any other kind of charts, but you have a setup, see a setup, take a setup. I have a process I call checklist trigger entry. So I have a specific checklist of things that I look for, a trigger to go for the trade, and then I scout my entry. So it's all very systematic. If you're not doing that, then yeah, chances are you're just gambling. But if you have a system, even if it's not working great, that's okay. Have your system, follow it. If you're following your system and your setups and you're not making money, you know the setups are the problem. I love people that will ditch a strategy after 2 weeks and then you talk to them and they don't follow the rules. Well, how do you know it's the system, right? Mm-hmm. So if you're following those processes, I mean, it's always helpful. And already, obviously, you saw Mary get into a trade earlier where she's talking through everything she was looking for before, during, and after the trade, right? So there's a system there. There's a particular thing that she's looking for and going for. It's the same with Mick and I when we trade as well. So if you're doing that, you're still going to struggle at first, right? Because we all do, but you're going to make progress. But yeah, if you're just doing things without a system, then yeah, I always tell people just, if you're gonna blow $5,000 on evals and just try to YOLO every single one of them, just go to Vegas and and use that to hit the craps tables, because at least you'll get some entertainment out of this. You're just going to get frustration if you're not following any sort of systematic approach.
Absolutely. Yeah, sometimes it's not so much your psychology as it is like it is psychology at the end of the day, but sometimes your system itself might be at fault. So it's always good to like make sure you're back testing your strategy and know that it actually works and it gives you an edge in the market.
The free hotel and food too. Not anymore in Vegas, Simon. 2017 was the last time I was there, but no, everything's expensive there now. I just my brother-in-law just met a few of his buddies there for kind of a weekend because they were coming from overseas. And yeah, I mean, it used to be you could get a hotel in Vegas for, even before COVID, for $80-$90 a night, because they want you, you're going to go blow your money gambling and free drink. That's not really the case anymore. I got a friend that works over there, and he says like bookings are down a ton. Now, part of that is the, everything with Canada as well, but it's, you're not going to get a decent room now it depends on the weekend, but sometimes under $300 or $400, which I don't know, man, that kind of defeats the purpose for me.
Yeah, I feel like I'm not going to say anything about Vegas because I know some people live there, but a lot of things have changed since the COVID times, and it's just, a little difficult, but man, we are still getting this push up to the upside here on the NASDAQ. 22,050 is going to be a level of resistance here. So let's see what we do. I want to know, is anyone in a trade right now? Is anyone taking anything? How are we doing? How are we doing on the day?
Tuxedo, I will generally use stop orders to enter and exit trades, or limit orders, on the profit side. But generally, I don't market into trades. Usually I want to have my attitude is, and there's nothing wrong with doing this or not doing this, depending on your setups. But my attitude is, if I can't set my order, take a minute to apprise the trade. And I say a minute, it's usually 10, 15, 20 seconds, and set my order at a reasonable spot. If I don't have time to do that, I don't have time to get into the trade. I'm not going to do that. So for me, I would say 90% of my trades I put a stop order to enter the trade, a stop buy or a stop sell.
Been taking long stuff.
Nice trade there, uptick.
Yeah, nice. 75 points. Longs from 60.35.
This is the type of price action where you could technically buy every single pullback.
Yeah, pretty much. The problem is, like, some of these pullbacks are a little aggressive.
Yep.
Long from 992. Nice.
Who is long from 992?
George K. Congratulations.
Nice. Sweet trade.
All right, Nick. Well, what are we looking at here?
That's the area actually that I mentioned before here. If you look at my chart, basically we have this high here from pre-market, right? Sitting right here at 22,065. And then we also have that downtrend line coming down here, and they do correlate. So that's why I expect a rejection here. So if you're in a long, just be careful. Not going to say that this couldn't blast, right? But be careful what happens here in that area. That's what I'm observing right now. And still waiting for a bull flag. Obviously it has to come now, right before that area, I bet. But yeah, that's.
I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I'm tempted to short here, but
yeah, same. Like in that area, if we get a rejection here, like this, and then pull back and then consolidate for a bit, and then move lower, that would be my bear flag entry. Like pretty much the same trade that I had yesterday. But if we blast and I get a bull flag, I'm not mad about that either. I think price action like this really teaches you to be
stay
patient.
patient. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, we got Trump in the chat.
Uh-oh.
In the chat.
Oh, see, this is what you get at Tradeify TV, guys. We've got Donald Trump and Jerome Powell fighting it out in our chat. This is honestly would probably not be the strangest thing to ever happen
And-
Not at
in
all.
this industry.
And Ray Dalio trying to win free accounts.
Yeah.
The real Donnie Trump.
VJ, to answer your question, so I mentioned earlier about a couple people. I just mentioned one to watch for candle structure. I'm sure there's more good ones, but one of the original people that brought candlesticks from the East to the West and integrated them with Western technical analysis is a gentleman named Steve Neeson, Nison. As far as I know, most of his stuff is out of print. Just go put his name in Steve Neeson candlesticks on eBay. You can get some secondhand DVDs or digital copies of stuff. I'm not, I'm not going to tell you what's pirated or what's not. It's whatever. But and I'll be honest with you, the guy is a great teacher. He's about as dry as a saltine in the desert, but it's good stuff. Just you can really only do about 20 to 30 minutes of him at a time. But he's amazing. So that's a great place to start. If you're just getting into trading, guys, and you have no idea where to start with charting and technical analysis, that's a great place to start. He'll be the first one to tell you candlesticks are not the be all end all. And I will tell you they're less reliable in futures than they are, especially on a daily chart in stocks. But it's a great place to start and at least have some sort of foundation for whatever methodology you end up pursuing.
Nice.
I love our chat. It's cracking me up. Oh, dude. A fight between
Is there anything more polarizing in this business than ICT? I think I'm like the only person in the world that I don't really have an opinion on it. I don't know that much about it, but it's every time somebody brings it up, we're going to get 10 people that swear by that strategy and 10 people that say it's complete garbage.
I mean, certainly PW and ICT. It's my guess.
Yeah, I really don't care. Like for me, I'm not like, oh, you trade ICT or a horrible trade. Like if it works for you, it works for you. Great. Yeah,
the tribalism that's popping up in like trading, and especially YouTube trading right now is I'll be honest, maybe it's just because I'm over 40, but I'm kind of like, huh? Like really? Like we're all retail traders, man. Like you can say I don't like somebody or on a personal level or whatever, and that's fine. Sometimes personalities don't mix, but like I want every retail trader to be successful.
Yeah, that's the crazy part is there's so much polarity in this market, and it doesn't have to be like that.
It doesn't have to be.
I don't get it.
Traders are just bored, If price action is boring, they just go off with each other.
Or some people are just assholes. I mean, that's
and
simple explanation. And I'm not saying anybody don't say, oh, you're talking about this person or this person. No, I'm not saying anybody in particular. I'm just speaking general. Any reason we are going up like this? Well, RJ, we are going up like this because there's more buyers than sellers.
Very true.
Yeah, we don't know. I mean, I can't sit here. If I was able to predict the market, I would be a bajillionaire. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm glad. Shout out to the real Donnie Trump. He's gonna let me know when I'm gonna enter a bull flag. I'll let him know, and then he'll pump the market. That's great. So I can only win today. Easy.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Easy money. White shirt, YT Wednesday.
How many people could say they got the president in the chat today, huh?
Oh, we're breaking through that area here. Retesting.
He said he was going to pump it for you, Nick.
Yeah, but no bull flag yet. So previous month high is sitting right there at 22,075. So let's see.
Yeah, we are breaking this trend line here. Nice volume coming in on the upside here, but next level of resistance I don't see until 100. 22,100.
Mm-hmm.
I think we might reach that point. If you guys are in longs, congratulations. We haven't seen a significant red candle, honestly.
No, we really haven't.
No,
So,
not yet.
yeah, 22,093, 22,100 level is going to be an area of resistance that I see. But clearly, this area didn't work out very well for ES. I'm just going to take this out.
You guys, make sure, all of you, whether you won or not, make sure your email's in your YouTube description so that we can reach out to you when you win. Because I will tell you, Background Nick is looking at your profile as soon as you win, and if it's in there, you're going to get that email usually within 10-15 minutes. So
Now you're putting some pressure on Background Nick.
oh, Background Nick's the man. He's
Shout
got
out.
it.
Shout out to Background Nick.
Background Nick might be full porting right now. As we
Yeah.
speak.
Already in for FOMC news.
Yeah.
There he is in the chat.
Yeah, whoa. Love it.
Not financial advice. I hope not. We do it every day, but we shout out Background Nick and producer Drew in this chat or in this show. Just they are the reason we are able to not worry about things like who's on screen or anything like that. Great, always appreciate them. And I kind of feel like if we don't shout them out at least once a day, like Drew's going to get in there and like fuck with our audio levels and make us all sound like Dr. Phil constantly.
Most likely.
That would be terrifying if you just had a permanent Dr. Phil voice.
The thing is, we don't know how we sound on stream. You know, maybe he has a voice filter on us, and we sound really
This
fucking
is true. This is very true.
Either that, or there's going to be like a pink filter thrown up on Nick's camera. White tea becomes pink tea day very quickly.
I can actually throw on a filter myself. I realized earlier today. Can do black and white Wednesdays. There you go.
There you go.
I'm off. That way, I'm always gonna have a white tee. See, easy.
I'm going to laugh when you can't get that off.
Yeah, I was literally about to say like shit.
You're like, wait.
Wait a minute. Wait. No, I know how to turn it off.
Maybe it's your cat that back there
we go.
messing with the wires again.
I'm back.
Man, these longs are not giving any sort of chance of
No.
entry unless you just have an order.
Well, we're
Order
forming a
sitting.
bull flag here, to be fair. So
We are.
I'm not. I might finally get my entry, and then I just let the real Donnie Trump know that we need to pump. And
I will be actually looking for an entry here as well. I just want to see the 62 area. What we're going to do here on NASDAQ. I would like a better entry closer to, yeah, like the 62 zone. And then what my stop would be probably 20 points on that.
oh, that bull flag starting to look nice here.
Yeah, it is.
Just need to check
There it is.
risk
It's
reward. It might be, honestly, this might become a top tick one, but
You and me both. We might both end up top digging this, but
I'm still gonna take it. I have an order sitting there at 22,074.
Yeah, Jesse, it absolutely is, and that's where you just got to remind yourself to stick with your to stick with your setups, to stick with what got you there, right? And it gets easier the more success you have, because if you're 5, 6, 7, 8 years into this and you're consistently profitable, your setups work and you have the ability to trade them. So it's more about trusting yourself at that point.
Yeah, real Donnie Trump. Can you pump real quick?
Oh shit, now Warren Buffett's here.
All right, Warren Buffett, Donnie Trump, please pump it really quick. Just like, I don't need much, just 25.5 points. I'm going to be fine. Go for it. Tweet it. Warren Buffett, Donnie Trump, Jay Powell, and Ray Dalio in the chat. That's crazy.
Yeah.
What other firm has these people in the chat, guys? Come on.
Yeah, this is only a Tradeify TV exclusive.
All right, I'm in. I'm in on that one.
Nice.
Maybe.
Yeah, this is actually crazy. I was
All right,
not
real
expecting
Donnie
this
Trump, do your job here. Oh, and Elon's here too. Oh shit.
This is getting better and better.
Oh man, look at Powell there. He's calling Trump out to the lawn. We're gonna get a fight on the South Lawn. Guys,
if we hit TP on this, I'm gonna actually believe that these are the real Donnie Trump and the real Jay Powell.
If you believe that, I've got some oceanfront property here in Illinois to sell you. Somehow, I don't think Jerome Powell has ever used the phrase, "I gotta holla at you real quick."
Why not?
I mean, that would be the best thing ever. Some of those deep fakes of Powell they put up on like Reddit, where he's doing these press, is hilarious. You know me, I don't shy away from 4-letter words, but some of that stuff is too toxic even for us. But yeah, it's good stuff. It's funny. You look those up. I think you just search like Wall Street bets by best of all time, and usually he's up there.
That's great.
Nice. Can I get the push? Donnie, you said you're gonna pump. What's this?
What is this?
Why are you doing this?
Is that a Middle Eastern accent?
No, this is from. Do you know the video of the African interviewer who asks, "Why are you gay? Why are you gay?"
You are gay.
So we have fake Powell and fake Trump about to fight. Do we have a fake reporter that can go out there and narrate this for us?
Yeah.
Yes, you're saying they're trapping me. Yeah, probably. Potentially. But I have a 19-point stop with 5 micros. I don't care at all if I get stopped out on this.
What's your target on this?
The 100 level. So
nice.
22, 100. It would be literally just the idea was that this is going to be a quick scalp, but it turned into another Nick trade where I have to wait for 30 minutes to be stopped out break even, it seems like.
We are almost at, it's almost tank time, isn't it?
I believe so, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Can somebody at our background chat please tell me they've heard from him today?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Background
Please
Nick.
confirm.
Tank there. Set A asking how many more marble races are there? You gotta go prepare my neighbors. We have 2 more marble races for today. So, but better go prepare them. I'm really getting the chop around my entry, guys, again. I mean, I'm not gonna be mad about it, honestly, because we already had, from the bottom here, we had a 150-point move, so.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I do like this as a potential move to the upside. It's just stalling at the moment.
Yeah. Welcome to Nick's trades.
It's okay. It happened to me too.
I see our one and only Coach Tank in the background. Ooh, this is gonna be good. This is gonna be good.
In the background, yeah.
Yeah, Coach Tank, we can hear you in the background, but chat cannot, the stream cannot hear you yet.
I entered along here at 67. I'm gonna set my stop here at 64. So I had my entry here at 67.50.
Nice, good entry. I hope Coach Tank is gonna pump price here a little bit. I just need him to pump it for 25.5 points, and I'm happy.
What? Oh yeah, your target is 100.
Yeah, where's your target?
I'm gonna take first TP at 82.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm gonna leave the rest probably till 100.
Oh, you're almost there.
I literally just like
almost there. Now I'm gonna stick through this full TP. Once I'm at 15 points profit, as usual, I'll move to break even.
All right, I just got filled on that one.
Nice, congrats.
I'll move to break even here in a bit.
All right, guys. Well, while we're buttoning up some of these trades here, it is that time. So it is time for us to welcome back to the show. I won't say he's our favorite guest because I don't want to offend all the great guests we've had, but he's my favorite guest. I will say that. So he is here live with us. It is. Let's get Tank in the chat, guys.
Yeah,
let's
get Tank in the chat.
Our resident mindset coach here. He works with the live traders at Tradeify. So when you get to a live account, you can look forward to talking to this gentleman. He helps us both behind the scenes and on stream quite a bit, and he is here now, ladies and gentlemen, Coach Tank.
Woo! Coach Tank.
Not enough buttons open, but welcome.
Yes.
It only goes down to 2, I'm afraid. Morning all. Hope you're well.
Yes.
All right.
How are you doing?
Yeah, very good. I must start by apologizing about yesterday. I'm always a believer. If you messed up, hold your hand up. So I messed up yesterday, not Tradeify myself, only to blame. So I would like to say sorry for those of you that are expecting me. But yeah, we're here today.
Yes, we're excited to have you as always, and it's always well worth the wait for you, and we just love your insight, and so I know the chat is excited and ready. So yeah, I mean, I think we have some questions too from the chat as well that will be coming in, but and I know we kind of do this every time, and we're not going to get into it every single time, but Tank, you are a coach for Tradeify TV, and you help all sorts of traders. I know you've worked with hedge fund managers and everyone from non-trading related. So give us like a little insight on that. How has that been so far for you, working with our Tradeify members?
Yeah, it's been brilliant, really. I think the response that I've got has been a pretty positive one, because a lot of people have come in with the mindset that they're doing relatively well, but there's room for improvement, which is a really nice space to be in. Obviously, the live traders have done well; they've made it to the live period. However, they know that maintaining it and staying there sometimes a different ball game. So a lot of them are open, and they're very sort of honest with their issues that they might be experiencing, whether they're psychological, whether they're time management issues. So actually, it's actually been quite a breath of fresh air that everybody is very aware, and there's a lot of self-reflection. So I'm really, really enjoying it. I mean, it's quite interesting because something that I'm going to talk about today, I thought it's worth mentioning because it's definitely something that's come up with probably 90% of the conversations I've had. And I don't know if you know that we're going to be doing some group sessions through our coaching program. So of course you've got the one-to-one bespoke programs with individuals, but also some group sessions where multiple traders can drop in essentially, and you can drop in potentially. I believe it's going to be even anonymous, so you can sort of be that creepy person in the background, but nevertheless you can drop in and you can view the session, and they're going to be slightly more generalized. And I think what I was going to dip into today was going to be a little insight as to how one of those sessions is going to go, and it's going to be
Nice.
related around risk reward, the relationship between risk reward ratios, hit rates, trade frequencies, confirmations, and so on and so forth, and how they're all kind of interlinked, because that was something that I realized over the past 10 years. A lot of retail traders, in some sense, just pinning the tail on the donkey with regards to all of that, rather than understanding how they're all interlinked. So that's something we're gonna be looking at today, I think.
Awesome.
Nice. Looking forward
Excellent.
to that.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, it's been a really good few weeks with our live traders. I think a lot of them understand that actually the challenges of staying live, the psychological challenges from going from sim to live, and the accountability and understanding that you need to nurture a live account off your own accord. I think there's a lot more accountability with a live account, and I think that's where I've come from. I've come from a background of institutional traders, but also live traders, retail traders, that they were all trading their own purse, and so the psychological issues that affect them are very, very similar to when you move to the live section of Tradeify. So a lot of experience in that, and yeah, I think it's something that we can discuss today with regards to the risk towards and so on.
Nice.
But,
I also see already a couple good questions in the chat. Do you first want to go through that, Tank, and then after we go through questions, or how do you want to structure it?
We can do some questions now if you fancy.
Yeah.
As they're here, and then we can pop in, I guess.
Yeah,
cool.
I like that.
Sounds good. So Boundless is asking, Coach Tank, how do you deal with the pressure of capital? People in the chat are afraid to take trades once they get funded, and I guess suffer from imposter syndrome. How do you manage these emotions?
Yeah, it's really, really difficult. But it's something that I believe takes time. The sort of self-belief. I always use the example. When I initially started out, I was always checking trades. I was over managing trades. I was reluctant to believe in my system, and so essentially jumping in was a bit scary. In line with your strategy, of course, when I say jumping in. But over time and with experience, like with any profession, by the way, this is the thing. We've got to try and look at this as a profession, not a hobby. But with every profession, the more time you spend doing it, the more time you spend seeing your system working well, the more belief you have, and therefore you've got a higher chance of executing when you should execute and staying out when you should stay out, and not mismanaging. I use the example of baking a cake. I think when I started baking, which was again very stereotypically through lockdown, when I started baking, I was awful at baking, and I was one of those people that would keep opening the oven door. I've put my finger in a few times. That kind of stuff.
Oh no!
And I just wasn't sure. I was so unsure about the process because I was new to it, and it's very clear how to bake something. But because I was new to it, I wasn't sure about. I didn't believe in the recipe. I didn't believe in my oven. I didn't believe in the system. And now, a few years down the line, I can pop something in the oven and go for a run and come back and just believe it's going to take care of itself. So, and that just took time. So I think the confidence with capital, when I started, it was a little bit tricky, risking my first ever job. My initial risk per trade was £5,000, and then it went up very quickly to £20,000, and then it went up to considerably more than that, and now it could be £1 million, and it doesn't make a difference to me because I just focus on the process, not essentially what's in the oven. So try not to monetize it. Try and look at it as points, not dollars. I always try and look at pips and points rather than pounds. For me, sterling, but for you guys, dollars. So try not to monetize what you're doing. Just look at process goals rather than monetary goals, and then it doesn't become too much of an issue. But it does take time, unfortunately. It is a profession. Remember.
I love that analogy with cooking, because it really is such a process-focused thing, right? You can't be opening it up and sticking your hopefully you're not sticking your finger in because you're going to get burned, but that is also a good analogy there. If you keep poking at it, you're going to get burned.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you open an oven and things fall flat. It's just poor mismanagement, and it's mismanagement. So yeah, absolutely. It's definitely something that I've learned over time.
Absolutely.
Another great question here. Green Eye is asking, Coach Tank, how do you break the bad habit of removing or moving your stop losses? I also got stopped out break even here, guys. Fuck that trade.
Yeah, I'm actually completely out of this trade, real quick. But yeah.
Did you say removing or moving?
Yeah, both.
So when you say moving, I assume they mean moving away, so increasing risk? Or is it just fiddling with the stop loss? Because obviously there are certain scenarios where you should tighten a stop loss, so you should trail a stop loss in certain situations. But if you're ever moving a stop loss, ever removing it and running away from the market, increasing risk, yeah, that's a big no-no. And again, that's one of these things that unfortunately comes time and believing in your system. Again, if you believe your stop loss is placed in the correct place, so you start by having a correct stop loss. You don't just put a bullshit stop loss because you fancy it. You need weight of evidence for why your stop loss is there, because that's where you believe, should the market surpass that level, the market will probably turn around. So I don't want to be in it anymore. So it needs to be a very relevant level in the first place, and you need weight of evidence for why you chose it. And then the idea is that your risk is small enough so that you don't mind your stop loss being hit. I think the first thing I was taught was be happy to take losers. If you can be happy with your losers, then you'll place your stops correctly and you will not run away from the markets. You'll stare it in the face and say, yeah, go for it. And should it stop you out, it's no big deal. Yeah, one of my ex-bosses used to say to me, when you place a trade, metaphorically obviously, write the check for that stop loss, tear it off and be ready to give that away. And if you're not ready to give that away, you're risking far too much on the trade. So one, ideal stop losses based on weight of evidence and actual analysis in the first place. And two, don't risk so much that you're not willing to have that stop hit. If you're going to run away with your stop loss, you're risking too much. So those are probably the two main things I'd say.
That is something, yeah, that's a good point, because I think as traders always think about the upside potential. They go into a trade with the intention of, oh, I'm going to make this much, right, if this works out for me, rather than thinking about it from the opposite end of like, well, what am I risking if I'm wrong, right? What am I actually going to lose on this trade? Because the upside is essentially, I mean, really infinite, right? You can continue if the stock keeps going up, right, or an indice keeps going up, you're going to make money on that regardless in the upside, and if you're long, obviously, and if you're short, the opposite. But you know, for a lot of new traders, it's always thinking about the what if it's right, rather than like, well, this could be wrong, and a lot of times it is as a new trader.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
Yeah.
And I think that's the mind. You hit the nail on the head there, really, Mariam, because the mindset. So I've met a lot of high net worth individuals that invest, like proper investors. And if they meet with somebody like myself or meet with someone, an asset manager, the first question that they ask is not how much can I make, is what's my risk? How much can I lose? If I get on board with this, if I put X amount to here over X amount of time, what's my potential loss? What's my risk? And once they have that conversation and then they're happy with the downside, they then discuss the potential upside.
Right.
Whereas a lot of retail traders, as you said, they laser beam focus on the profit. And unfortunately, that's because of a lot of the culture with retail traders and the way things are run social media wise for a lot of different places. Like I said, nobody ever loses, risks too much, loses their car, risks a bit more, loses their house, and posts about it on Instagram. You never see that. But trust me, during the crypto boom, it definitely happened.
Wait, I know you're not saying social media is bad for traders, right? Like, you can't be saying that. It's so positive.
It's really interesting. I mean, you know, I'm meeting with a lot of traders here, and a lot of people are asking me, you know, I've created an Instagram now under Coach Tank, but I never had Instagram. Okay, I was one of these people that I just thought that it would only fuel sort of negative targets and thoughts and a skewed vision of the world in general, but not just trading. So yeah, I think look at the downside first. So I was always taught that you identify in this process your entry, then your stop loss, without even thinking about a target. You identify where you want to get in if this and this happens. We then identify where you want to exit for a loss based on a technical level and see whether that level is palatable and you can digest that. And then we look at the potential target. Because if you always go entry and then target second, you're then going to just create some sort of bullshit stop loss to make it work. So I was always taught EST, entry, stop, target. And if you do it in that order, you would objectively create the ideal stop loss based on analysis. And then you'll try and identify the correct target based on analysis. And yeah, always going to look at the downside. Any high net worth individual, any big investor, smart money basically, they will always look at their downside first. And that's how we've got to look at it as well, I'm afraid.
Absolutely. I love that. Give it up for Coach Tank, guys. He is just... I fucking love having you on here. It's so great. And it's always a good reminder, even for me. I mean, you could be a trader for, you know, the amount of time I've been trading, at least 5 years here, and I'm still having to constantly remind myself certain lessons. And of course, you know, over time that gets better. But in that regards, do you feel like there's typically a time or a year that it kind of clicks for people, or it's just everyone it just depends?
Yeah, it's really quite a tricky one, really, because generally everyone's goal is different. For some people, you know, they're trying to aim to get a bit of, I call it beer money, a little bit of pocket money and a bit of beer money, and you know, that's them. They've reached where they wanted to go, actually. And then there are some people that want to turn this into full-time income and, you know, pay for their mortgage, pay for their holidays, pay for their kids, and that will generally take them a little bit longer. So yeah, I think it probably clicks once you've got to the stage of what you set out to try and achieve, and that generally is quite varied on the spectrum. But yeah, once you're comfortable, once you feel like, you know, trading is not forced, when it's enjoyable, when there's zero anxiety, you know, it should be like mowing your lawn. You know, it should be such a chilled experience. It really, look at Nick. I mean, I don't know underneath what's going on, but Nick like an iceberg maybe, but he's cool and he seems very calm. I mean, I did hear him earlier while I was getting dressed. I heard him say, I wish I could be a marble. So I heard that. I just sort of stopped for a second. I said, "Don't you say I wish I could be a marble?" But yeah, it's just chilled, you know, and that's what we're trying to achieve. And rather than, you know, super high emotions of big wins and super low emotions of big losses, just that. And I think once you've achieved that sort of approach to markets, whilst achieving your goal, which was maybe, like I said, pocket money, beer money, bit of side money, or indeed a full switch from your current income, current job to trading. Once you've got there and it feels sustainable and it feels easy, the application of, then yeah, then that's clicked. And unfortunately, that does take varying times, because people are putting different time amounts into it. Yeah, I'm doing sessions with traders, and you know, we're going to have a session with some of them in another week, some of them in another 2 weeks, some of them in another 3 weeks, based on their trade frequency, based on their schedules.
Right.
They've got work, they've got this. So yeah, I can't put a numerical time on it, but the time is when you've achieved what you've tried to achieve, sort of income wise, and you feel comfortable doing it. That's the point. You have to be comfortable. Otherwise there's something wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
I love
by
that.
The way, speaking of iceberg, I'm not an iceberg right now. I'm really cool. It's like, whatever. next one is coming.
Last trade, next trade.
Yep.
I just want to see you dressed up as a marble.
Maybe for Halloween we could do that.
What? Hank, what are you talking about? I do that every day.
Yeah.
I was thinking that was a little bit more towards the sort of the pool table, that one, Matt.
Oh, okay. All right. The cue ball. There you go. All right. That's original.
Oh man. Nice.
But no, it's great. Yeah, it's good to see the sort of it's good to see the, I guess what I'll do now, shall we try and have a chat about, I'm gonna have to try and share my screen here, try and have a chat about confirmations and so on.
Ooh, love
Something
that.
I really want to try and discuss, because like I said, I felt like this was something that came up a few times, and a lot of retail traders generally, when you trade institutionally, you're told a lot of what to do. You don't have much freedom. They kind of mold you how they want to mold you. You don't have freedom to sort of, you can't freestyle it. It's kind of like working for an architecture firm rather than just being like modern artist. So you kind of you have rules and regs. But when you're trading for yourself as a retail trader, you kind of start from, you're not too sure where you start from. And what I've noticed, a lot of people then start from somebody else's strategy or somebody else's methodology. And they say, right, this guy's making money, this guy's doing well, I'm going to do that. And I've always been a believer in never, ever selling a strategy. I think that's bollocks, selling a strategy, because one of the hardest things about trading is not knowing how to trade, but how to implement the plan, the sustainable implementation, the longevity of the implementation. Therefore, it only makes sense that you create a plan bespoke to yourself, not try and adopt somebody else's plan. Like, take the three of you. I mean, your sort of characters are so different. Maybe your risk adversity is so different. Your technical ability might be different. What you're trying to get out of trading might be different. So if I just gave a winning strategy to all three of you, there's nothing to say that all three of you should be able to apply that perfectly, because it's not in line with you. It might be in line with me. So a lot of retail traders basically take something from somebody else and try and implement it, and realize that, this is not in line with their character. It's not in line with what they want to do. So I think you do need to somewhat start from scratch or massively develop something that's maybe in line with what you want, but you have to have some conversations with yourself first. And one of them really stems around the idea of hit rates, risk reward ratios, and actually trade frequencies. And that's what I think we're going to cover now, if we could. So what do I do?
Let's do it.
I share my screen, don't I? It is this one.
I have no idea. Producer Drew knows.
Yeah, he's the wizard. All right, so he's working on getting that up.
I know. So if I share this one, lovely jubbly. That's all it is. So we're going to just start with this one diagram, this one chart, really, one little diagram.
It's not up yet. I'll let you know once it's up.
No worries, Drew. What a lovely voice Drew has, doesn't he?
He does. He really does.
But
so
the chat
calming.
doesn't get to hear it.
You guys, I know. I feel bad. Like we don't get to bless everyone with your voice, Drew.
I love starting my trading day with Drew counting us down into our stream.
Yeah.
That is a voice for audiobooks, if ever I know.
We're live.
Nighttime audiobooks. It's lovely.
You're live now, Coach Tank.
Beautiful. Right. So hopefully everybody could see this chart that's in front of me. I mean, it's I don't know, some people might have seen this before, some people may not have. There's something called a break-even line. Okay, it's very, very simple. If you talk about hit rate simply means of the trades you take, how many you get right, how many you get wrong. But generally with a minimum of achieving your 1-to-1. Okay, so the idea is you're never going to get 100%, hence why it's sort of just getting closer and closer. But it's very, very simple. If you looked at it in this manner, our 50% hit rate is here, and if you did 1-to-1 trades, you can see you're flat. If you did 1.2-to-1 trades, so risked $100 for $120 with a 50% hit rate, you're up here. This is an interesting line to sort of just be aware of, because a lot of people sometimes are looking for, I don't know, maybe 4-to-1 trades, but they think that maybe, if I do it maybe 20% of the time, I should be making money, but you're not. You're flat again with 4-to-1. With commissions, you're actually down. So it's a good line to just be aware of this sort of thing, just to understand where you need to be profitable in terms of your average risk to reward ratios and your average hit rate. So your hit rate over an X amount of period and your average risk to reward ratio, very, very simple to work out if a system is going to be profitable or not with a little chart like this. Okay, so just a beginner chart, this one. But what I wanted to talk about was, incorporating the concept of trade frequency, because I also used to think that, I started slightly midterm, midterm FX, very economic based, very central bank based, and then I moved all down into short-term equities like you guys. But so I kind of saw the whole spectrum of the analysis required and the differences associated. And if you imagine longer term FX, we're placing positions and holding them for, 3 to 6 months sort of thing. Yeah, so trade frequency is low. So it's important you understand how often you want to trade. There are some people that want to sit in front of a chart all day and place 100 trades a day. If that's really, really what you want to do, it can be achieved. But you're going to have to think about not just the frequency, but also, okay, what's the realistic risk-reward ratio there? What's actually going to be my hit rate? And you need to think of them all together to make that system work. There are also people that say, I only want to do one-to-one trades, but I'm happy with a 50-50 hit rate. Well, that's not going to work. Yeah, and also, are you really happy with only trading maybe once a day? Some people say I'm happy trading twice a week. Are you really, or do you want to trade more? So you need to think about all these things collectively. And I guess something that we then need to take into consideration would be this concept of confirmation. So I did a little drawing here. This is just an Aussie yen chart on the hourly. By the way, I still trade FX as well. Okay, so I have a nice little basket of FX as well. But just an example here. I'm just going to look at the concept of confirmation. Hopefully, I assume we can get some participation. Can we? Do people message in and we get some participation?
Yeah, in the chat. Yeah.
Guys, which trade entry gives you the least confirmation? Which trade entry gives you the least confirmation? Hopefully, I'm going to get the YouTube thing up as well.
Yeah, it's always going to be 5 seconds delayed.
Yep, no problem. So the least confirmation? Which trade entry here gives us the least confirmation? Okay, yeah, spot on. Yeah, very, very simple. Okay, market's trending up, higher highs, higher lows, hits a level of resistance here. We then hit that same level of resistance exactly here, form a lovely shooting star doji. I think Brett loves a doji, doesn't he? Hits it. We see something like this and hit the resistance. There's a nice level of support down here, all the way to the left. You can see it's a relevant hit as well, very relevant support level, and you enter an A. Okay, brilliant. Hit a resistance, reject the resistance, sell it. Fine. We then have the option B, which is essentially A and B in terms of weight of evidence. So basically, we've come up, we've hit a resistance, failed, hit a resistance again, failed with a bearish reversal candlestick, hit that resistance again and failed. We then also broke this trend line. So this bullish trend line also broke here. So we had with B, resistance failed with bearish reversal candle, resistance failed with bearish reversal candle, and bearish break of a trend line. So 4 reasons to enter on B. Okay, so yeah, clearly we've got more confirmation. And then finally, option C, which is resistance and failed, resistance with bearish reversal candle failed, resistance failed, break of trend line, as well as now the break of this little level of support here. Just this little level here, okay? It's a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here, bearish break of that, and now we've entered. So the point I'm trying to make is, clearly, we've got levels of confirmation from A, B, and C, but it's clearly inversely related to our what? What do you think increased confirmation is inversely related to? What is confirmation inversely related to? So i.e. when we have more confirmation, A, B, and C, we have less what? Or a reduced what? Anybody know? You can see from this. Yeah, perfect, David. Yeah, perfect. Very, very simple, isn't it? 5.7, 3.01, 1.28. Yeah, very, very simple. Yeah, very, very simple. So it's essentially inversely related to risk-reward ratio. Now, the question also arises, which one are you most likely to find? You're most likely to find a bounce off a resistance, because you're not always going to have a trend line. You're not always going to have another support level. So generally what you'll find is least confirmed entries are entries that we'll see more often, okay? And they tend to have a higher risk-reward ratio. Therefore, which one do you think should have the highest hit rate? If I took 10 A's, 10 B's, and 10 C's, which ones should have the highest hit rate? Very, very simple question. Which one should have, which entry, if I only took A's, only took B's, only took C's, which one has the highest hit rate? Yeah, it's going to be C. Yeah, it's going to be C. Yeah, more confirmation, more probability of outcome. No, not quite A or Z, because we've got the least confirmation on A. Yeah, it's got a higher chance of this then turning once we've entered it and then stopping us out. Yeah. So C is the one that has basically showed us most confirmation, so it's the highest probability of not stopping us out. Okie doke. Something that I then want to relate this all to, why could you start with A and B and add? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so that's another option, Stephen. Perfect. So what a lot of people do is, and a lot of big funds do this as well, longer term investing, this is what you do. Somebody gives you $100 million and says, I want you to put this into the market. You don't pop it all in at the same place. You essentially drip it in. And the idea is that, we might put some in at A, which is higher risk. So you might put, so let's say 100 million, you might put 20 million in at A. You might then put 50 million in at B. Yeah, so less risk in terms of as more confirmation. Okay, 50 million at B. So you've got 30 million remaining, put the remaining 30 million at C. And that's how you might enter 100 million into something like this, if that makes sense. You won't put all 100 million at A because it's a high probability of losing it all. Yeah, so you can do that. And again, you can do that with your retail trading. It's but what you need to do is have it predetermined. So it's not a decision that you make in the moment. It's not a decision you make based on emotion or greed or fear. It's something that you have previously determined. I'm going to add X percentage of my risk at A, a next amount of percentage of my risk at B, and then the next at C should it happen, because C could not happen, and that's fine. It could stop A and B out, for instance. Yes, absolutely. You're welcome to no, the stop loss won't be too much, Ulmir, because all you're doing is you're reducing the size of the trade. Okay, so that's the idea. Yeah, you just reduce the size of the trade. But this is the idea. So I think what I wanted to take you to now, okay, this is something I made. It looks a little bit wacky at the moment, but bear with me.
We love this, by the way.
Once I straighten this up, this will make a bit of sense. So this is how I'm going to try and relate them all, because when I was working in my previous role, I'm in lecture halls, I'm on a whiteboard, I'm on big screens and so on, and trying to explain these concepts to everybody verbally or with charts was good, but I felt like I needed to put everything onto one chart. And again, that's something that, a lot of scientists do. Remember, my background is theoretical physics. I had to put everything onto one concise chart, or one algorithm, but that doesn't make sense to anybody anymore. So one concise chart. And this is exactly how I managed to do that. And to be honest, I think what I'm about to draw here, I still believe it doesn't exist anywhere else on the internet. Okay, so I haven't patented it, but I don't believe it exists anywhere on the internet.
Proprietary.
When I wrote it, my boss, who's been in the markets for 35 years, said he's never seen something like this. So let's see.
Wow.
Everyone can stay with me here, but I've got a graph on the left, as you can clearly see. Okay, I've got a graph on the left. I've got here price, and what I mean by this arrow, this arrow going up, is a better price. Yeah, so a better entry, so an earlier entry or the best possible price. Okay, down the bottom here is the worst possible price you could enter a trade. Up here is the best possible price you could enter a trade. Okie doke. Confirmation, as we know, that's going to be the amount of analysis, the amount of weight of evidence you have for making a decision. I always said that entering a trade or your stop loss or your target, it's simply like court of law. If you can increase the weight of evidence for something, then it's more likely that it is. So if you enter a trade based on nothing, then the odds are it's not the good entry. If you enter a trade because you saw this, and this, plus this is happening, and macroeconomically we've seen this, then you've got 6 reasons to enter the trade. So it's more than likely that is the ideal place to enter the trade. So if you can increase weight of evidence, you increase the probability of the outcome. Okay, very, very simple. So how do you think it's related, price and confirmation? I want to draw a straight line. It could be diagonal, it could be up, down. I'm asking you guys here in the chat. How do you think I could just show the relationship between price and confirmation? If I want to get in at the best price, yeah, the earliest price, do you think I need a lot of confirmation or little confirmation? I've put a compass up on the right-hand side because I felt that would help people describe angles of lines. So if you want to say a north line, a south line, a northeast to southwest, a northwest to southeast, go for it. Yeah. So I just popped something like that. He shouldn't belong. He doesn't belong there. So rather than a curve, no, just a straight bottom left to top right from boundless. So yeah, I mean, he or she's got the right idea, but not quite correct. So I think what he said was something like this. I just need a line here, actually, not an arrow, because what the arrow is. So I think what he suggested was that. Do we agree with that or disagree with that? Northwest to southeast. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, northwest to southeast. Yep, absolutely. So the relationship between getting in at the best possible price and confirmation looks something like this. Okay, that's very, very simple. If you want the most confirmed entry, you got to give away pips. You got to sacrifice price. If you want the earliest, best price, you're going to not have much confirmation. So if we go back to something like this, our little setup here, we had our A, B, and C. Our A entry, B entry, C entry. A being the most confirmed, then B, and then C. A being the best price, C being the worst price, yeah, i.e. least profit. Where do they sit on here? Can you tell me, anybody? Where does the A, B, and C sit on here? A was the earliest entry with the least confirmation. C was the most confirmed with the worst price. Can you tell me where A, B, and C sits on here? A, B, and C, anybody? Again, you can go top right, bottom left, something like that. A on the top. Yeah, it's something like this, isn't it? Yeah. So you pop an A in here. We pop a B in here. Oh, a B in here, and we pop a C in here. And the reason I'm doing all this is because it really gives people clarity of thought when they're trying to create a system. Because you can't just pin a tail on the donkey, and you can't also, like I said, just adopt somebody else's system. You want to try and create something that's in line with what you're trying to achieve. So back when I used to be at work, I used to be called Captain Confirmation. Okay, I was boring. I didn't care about getting in early. I was somebody that I really wanted a high hit rate. Okay, maybe it was arrogance, I don't know. And I was Captain Confirmation, so I was always C. Okay, and actually to this day, my average risk to reward ratio is actually 1.3 to 1. So I risk £1,000 for £1,300. So you can see here, for instance, I mean, that happened to be 1.28, which is almost spot on. Yeah, but that was me. And I had friends of mine that would trade A, and they didn't care about hit rate. Okay, they just placed trade after trade after trade because they sat down and their primary aim was, everyone's aim is to make money, but the method in which they wanted to do it was with a shitload of trades. So if you want to scratch that itch of trading many, many times, you have to create a system that is conducive to that. My system of Captain Confirmation, entering on C, waiting for this, and this, is not conducive to placing 100 trades a day. You need to be the low confirmation, high risk reward ratio, bam, there it is, get in. And more often than not, A is going to lose. Okay, more often than not, entry A is going to stop you out. It's going to come down. It's going to be a fake resistance. It's going to be a fake rejection. Bam, moves up. Trend continuation. You're out. Okay, so you got to deal with that. And I tried that system. I tried that system of high risk to reward ratio, low hit rate, and it is profitable for a lot of people, but it wasn't in line with my psychology. Okay, it upset me. So I wasn't enjoying my trading. I was stressed. All of a sudden I was drinking a lot more coffee. I was leaving the office knackered. So it's really important that you understand what system is conducive to your character, because we're trying to create a strategy or a system that you can implement for years. I told all of the live traders I've worked with here, we're not trying to do a quick fix. We're not trying to get to the end of the month. We're not trying to get through an eval. We're not trying to get to Christmas so you can spend a bit of cash. We're trying to create a system here that you can sustainably implement over 8 to 10 years. Okay, and the idea there is you must start with something that's conducive to your character. Otherwise, we use a phrase in England, otherwise you're pissing into the wind. Okay, so if you're going to start like that, you're going to get wet feet. Okay, so the idea is create a system that is in line with your character, and then we build it from there. So for me, I like to be correct more often than I'm wrong. Maybe it's an arrogance thing, maybe it's a side thing, whatever, it doesn't matter. Bottom line is it's not just about profitability. I want profitability, but also a higher hit rate, which means I have to sacrifice pips, which means I have to sacrifice my entry. It's going to be delayed, but I'm going to increase my confirmation. Okay, so these are things that we're all now thinking of together. Okay, so you've got to start to layer in all of these like a lasagna. Okay, we're not individualizing a piece. We've got to put them all together, and only then can we kind of really construct how you're going to approach markets. And this is the sort of thing you need to do for yourself, because like I said, it does need to be in line with the individual. Right, so now we've done something like this. Okay, we've quite clearly got our price versus confirmation line. I enter in the best price or the most amount of confirmation. So now what I'd like to do, and again I'll open it up to all of you, I'd like to put a line on here, or an arrow, that identifies hit rate. Okay, what direction can I draw an arrow that will show me the best hit rate? Okay, or how can I identify hit rate? And just think the arrowhead is going to mean more. Okay, so the back of an arrow means least, the head of the arrow means more. So it doesn't matter if it's slanting down or up, the head of the arrow means more. So I'm going to give you two options. First option is this. Do we think this depicts... Oh, hang on a jiffy. Where'd that fellow go? Do we think that depicts hit rate? Or do we think maybe this depicts hit rate? And remember, the arrow means better. Okay, so that will be a better hit rate, that will be a worse hit rate. This will be a better hit rate, that will be a worse hit rate. So do you think we want to draw a northwest arrow or a southeast arrow for hit rate? And all you need to do, remember, is identify. So some are saying the second example, some are saying the top. So southeast or northwest, please. Southeast or northwest, just pop it in. Southeast or northwest. Southeast. Yeah, southeast, yeah, absolutely. Okay, well done. So for here, if I just pop in hit rate, annoyingly it's purple hit rate, and I just get rid of this one. Hey, you're absolutely right. Okay, the higher confirmation you have, the higher your hit rate's naturally going to be. Okay, if you want a higher hit rate, if you're somebody like me that likes to have a higher hit rate because it satisfies me, satisfies my character, it makes me enjoy my trading when I have a higher hit rate, then I know I need to identify confirmation, and I need to have high confirmation if I want high hit rate. And I can't be up here with the best possible price because it's inversely related. There's an inverse correlation there, yeah? So I can't say I want a high hit rate and I want the best possible price, because those things, I'm afraid, are inversely correlated. Okay, bringing back my math, I'm so sorry. Okay, but when you see this image, hopefully it will make a bit of sense in its entirety. So now we're incorporating hit rate onto this. Third thing we want to pop on here then is risk to reward ratio. I think this is hopefully a simple one. Okay, risk to reward ratio. The idea here is that we're trying to break this down, Matcha. Oh, there's iced matcha coffee king. Has he just made that name up just so maybe Mariam might say hi?
Yeah, he's a regular. He's a regular.
Busted.
Right. So okay, if we're gonna pop in a hit rate, I think we all know we kind of mentioned the relationship between hit rate and risk to reward ratio. So if I want to draw a risk to reward ratio arrow, what would that look like? Risk to reward ratio arrow. So we kind of mentioned that it's essentially the opposite or the inverse to hit rate. So what do you think? Just use the compass on the right. Again, it's a simple option. Use one of the directions on the compass, please. What are we thinking? Risk to reward ratio. Northwest, northeast, northwest. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, northwest. Yeah, it is just inversely correlated to hit rate, so it is essentially the opposite. Something like that. Yeah, very simple. So let me pop this in a different color. Let's go with blue. Lovely. And then yeah, risk to reward ratio. Cool. And again, now all we're trying to do is look at everything together. Everything's on the same chart. Okay, we've got entry A. We've still got entry A, B, and C up here, by the way. Okay, don't forget that. Entry A is here. Remember, it had the highest risk to reward ratio. Yep. It had the best price entry. Yep. It was the least confirmed, however. Yep. And therefore, it probably has the lowest probability outcome. Correct. Entry C, that's me, Captain Confirmation. We got extra confirmation. Brilliant. Yes, 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 yes. The risk to reward ratio was the lowest of the three. Okay, that's okay. It's still within my world, my perimeter. 1.28, that was, I believe. However, my hit rate is going to be high on that entry. Okay, and I like to keep a hit rate of round about the 70s. So my hit rate has fluctuated between 68 and 72. Now, I know if I try and target bigger, if I start to look for 1.5 to 1s, or I start to look for 2 to 1s, my hit rate will go down, and therefore my overall profitability may not improve. It might be the same. So risk to reward ratio here. And then the final thing that I like to talk about, which is, again, like I said, something that comes up a lot, is trade frequency. Because some people start their conversation with, yes, I would like to be profitable. Of course, that's why I'm here. But I love trading, and I want to place at least 10 trades a day. Okay, it's my full-time job. I'm going to sit in front of charts. I don't want to sit in front of charts all day and have to place one trade. I want to sit in front of charts all day. I want to scratch that itch, and I want to place 10 to 15. I think I told you, I know guys that have placed 50 trades a session. Okay, 50 trades a morning. Professional traders, though, you know, these guys are whacking out numbers. You know, they're big, big numbers. High frequency, physical, human trading, really. And they are fucking knackered, but they love it. Okay, they absolutely love it. I can't do that. Okay, I tried it. Like I said, I can see it's profitable for them, but for me, character-wise, it didn't work. So now, frequency. What do we think frequency? This is a trickier one. But again, to draw any straight line, you need 2 points. So think of where you might find the most trading opportunities in what sort of scenario, and where you might find the least trading opportunities, what sort of scenario. What do we think? So this is a little bit trickier. Okay, this is a little bit trickier. So what do we think our frequency line may look like? Again, it's going to be an arrow, and you can use the compass, remember. So it's going to be an arrow. It's going to either be, well, any one of these. I'm not going to tell you yet. 5, 6 trades a day, and then yeah, absolutely, I can understand that. Okay, and it depends also on how you manage them, you know. So we've got a northeast, a west to east. A west to east would just be just east, yeah. But west to east, okay. Southeast, northwest, okay. So Friday Lover, that's a lovely name. Southwest. There's some rascal names in this chat, isn't there?
Everything in here.
Every time I watch Tradeify TV, I actually watch it on full screen, so I don't actually see the chat. This is actually the first time
That's
I've
hilarious.
seen Northwest. So we've kind of got almost every option going. So let's talk it through, okay? Because it's clearly not obvious. So, where do you think? I'm going to just use a little circle here. Where's my little? Oh, that's not a circle. Okay, perfect. Where do you think I'm going to find? Where do you think I'm going to find the most trading opportunities? A trade entry with a poor risk reward ratio and zero confirmation, or with zero confirmation and a really good risk reward ratio, loads of confirmation. Guys, let's think of it like this. If we're looking for trade frequency, are we going to find more entries with more confirmation or less confirmation? Are we going to find more entries with more confirmation or less confirmation? What's easier to find? More confirmed or less confirmed trades? What do you think is easier to find? Once you open your charts, what do we find? What's easier to find? More confirmation or less? Absolutely, it's less, isn't it? You open your chart up, you find one level, boom, fuck it, sell off it, but buy off it. Yeah. So the idea is you're certainly going to find more less confirmation, which means that in terms of trade frequency, it's going to be on the left-hand side of this compass. Okay, the arrow. It's either going to be northwest, west, or southwest, because we know that the arrow for frequency has got to go that way. It's going to be opposite to confirmation, isn't it? Yeah, because if you want more confirmation, you're going to find less of them. Very, very simple.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So it's going to go that way, opposite to confirmation. Now the question is it northwest, west, or southwest? Now this is the question. Is it going to be west, this arrow, northwest, or southwest? Okay, in that case, now what we need to do is talk about it relative to the price. Are you more likely to find an entry that's 1-to-1 or 10-to-1? Are you more likely to find an entry that's 1-to-1 or 10-to-1? What do you think? Are you more likely to find an entry that's 1-to-1 or 10-to-1? Yeah, 1-to-1. Yeah, absolutely. You're more likely to find an entry that's 1-to-1 than 10-to-1. So we know that frequency has to be inversely related to best price. Yeah. You're not going to find loads of 10-to-1 trades. You're more than likely going to find 1-to-1 trades. Yeah. So we know that it's more likely to find a least confirmed entry. Yeah. Turn up, open a chart, boom, let's get in. And it's more likely that you'll find a 1-to-1 trade than a 10-to-1 trade.
Mm-hmm.
Using the beauty of vectors, which is a lovely part of physics, how do I combine these two arrows? What arrow did these two arrows make once combined? Left and down. I'm not going to give you that one. Now use the compass. Now use the compass, please. Left and down equals perfect. Yes, absolutely. So our frequency line, our frequency arrow looks something like this. Okay. Let's get it through the middle there. Boom. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of that fellow, and I'm going to get rid of this, delete that. And this is trade frequency, which I'm going to put in a slightly more attractive color. Stick it in green. Okay, and I want to label it also frequency. Freak will do. Okay, so, and look, if we take this, just to confirm that this is the arrow for frequency, up here, which is the least common setup, yeah, we're at the back end of frequency. Remember, the arrow means more, so we're at the back end of the frequency arrow, i.e. least likely to find this trading setup is a trading setup that has the most amount of confirmation and gives you the best possible price. that doesn't exist. Yeah, that's the entry that gives you the most amount of confirmation with the earliest entry, the best possible price. That doesn't exist. There's opposing ideas. And that's why that's at the back end of the frequency line. Yeah, and these are the ones that you can enter one-to-one, no confirmation, open up a chart, very easy to find. But notice where that is with regards to hit rate. It's here, which is towards the back end of hit rate still, because there's no real confirmation to it. Okay, it's the thing you just turn up and find. So the point I'm trying to make here with all of this, hopefully some of it's stuck, okay, is that we have to look at the whole system holistically as in its entirety to work out where you fit on this chart, because you can fit anywhere on this chart based on what you fancy. Okay, all of this on this chart is profitable space. Okay, all of this is profitable space. What you need to remember and bear in mind that I started with was this line as well. Okay, you have to remember this line as well. This is just your risk reward ratio combined with your hit rate and where you're profitable. Also, it's delay, wasn't there? This is just your risk reward ratio and your hit rate. So where you're profitable versus where you're not profitable. Okay, so of course you need to take that into consideration as well. But that combined with this concept and basically take into consideration your character, have a chat with yourself, say what's important to you, a high hit rate, trade frequency. Do you not care about hit rate and you just want a good risk reward ratio and you want to be profitable? You don't care about losing. I know people that lose. They have 20% hit rates. Yeah, they lose, win. Lose, win. Lose, win. And it's for me, that's an awful day. But because of they offset it with high risk reward ratios and they have high trade frequencies, they are profitable. Okay, but it's in line with their character, and that's what makes it sustainable. A lot of traders take strategies that they adopt, and a lot of new traders adopt strategies online. Okay, I've never believed in selling a strategy. They've taken strategies from online that have maybe worked for other people, maybe they haven't, maybe it's bullshit, maybe they have worked for other people. But either way, it doesn't mean that you can adopt it and apply it perfectly, because it has to be in line with your values. Are you someone that wants to trade often? Are you someone that wants a high hit rate? Do you want to trade infrequently? Do you want to hold trades for long? Can you manage them as well? Okay, so a lot of these higher risk reward ratio trades require in-trade management. You need to be there and be up its bottom and trail your stop loss. Some people can't do that. Yeah, if you're going to place an entry and place a trade and disappear, go to work, go to see the kids, whatever it is, you can't be trading 10, 15 to ones, because you need to trail a stop loss in that manner. Mm-hmm. So again, you have to take into consideration your time constraints. So this was just a little session trying to help a lot of retail traders understand, one, what I'll be doing with the live traders in terms of the group sessions, the classroom sessions. We're going to try and look at things from a slightly more academic angle. It seems boring, it seems classroom, but I really, really do believe that a good amount of theory is required with trading as well as practical application. Yeah, it's kind of like driving a car. You can chuck someone in a car, but if they have no idea how to drive it, they're going to struggle. Mm-hmm. And also, someone can do all the theory on driving a car and then struggle to actually drive it. And I'm talking about gears, by the way. Okay, I don't do this automatic business, but you need to do the theory and the practical. So here's a bit of theory, and I think the idea is it's just a quick session. Okay, I think when I used to teach this and when I used to properly lecture this at business schools, it was a 2.5 hour session. Okay, we did a lot more examples, we used a lot more charts, a lot more interaction, and that's what we'll do also in our coaching sessions. With the one-to-ones, there's lots of interaction, but with the group sessions, there'll be a lot of interaction similar to what we've done here. So that's the idea. Okay, so hopefully everybody's with me there. Like I said, I don't believe this chart exists on the internet. Maybe at my old work it does, but you know, I just realized we had to put this all together in one piece. And there's your A, B, and C. Okay, there's your A, B, and C.
Wow.
Does that make sense? Hopefully it made a bit of sense.
It does. Tradeify TV exclusive.
That was excellent.
That was fire.
That was I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch this, Tank.
Absolutely. I
because-
was just thinking that I need to watch that on a bigger screen other than just what we keep up in the corner here. Yeah, Tank, that's fucking incredible, man. That's some of the best stuff I've seen in a very, very long time. So yeah, and I agree with the chat, and I agree with my fellow hosts here. I think, guys, this is well worth a rewatch. And I know a couple of you have talked about going back and watching Tank's other streams and how informative that is. This one, we're gonna have to like separate this, star this, and get it up, guys. That was really incredible. Really appreciate that, Coach Tank.
No, I appreciate that. I appreciate
Definitely.
that. And yeah, that's it. I mean, because a lot of the psychological issues that people are facing is because they didn't quite get it right in the first place. And like I said, it's always a constant uphill struggle when you do it that way. So for sure, if you can sort of build the house how you want to build the house, build it how you want to live in it, sort of thing. And we're starting at foundations here, so you can start your way up from the bottom, and then I think it should be quite an easy journey. It shouldn't be difficult trading. It shouldn't be a challenge in terms of emotionally. It shouldn't be a challenge in terms of, oh, I hate doing this analysis, I prefer doing this analysis. You can cater this however you wish. Okay, you just have to do the process correctly, and that's something that's lovely about trading, is that there are many ways to skin this cat. You just need to approach it holistically, which is what we're trying to teach here.
Nice.
Guys, W's in the chat for Tank. If you guys got value from this, I mean, I don't know how you didn't, because this is like, I thought I was good with my psychology. This is a whole nother level. That's why I feel like I need to come back and watch this. But this was absolutely amazing. I wasn't expecting this. I'm not gonna lie. So
the chat is loving it too. Chat is loving it.
No, brilliant. I think, we're putting together a schedule of there's going to be something like 20 to 25 of these kind of classes that I'm going to put together. So it's going to be covered. Some things will be relatable to others, some will be relevant, some will be irrelevant. This is something I think, from my experience with the live traders so far, I think a lot of people could think about this, and it's just a case of thinking about it. Have a chat with yourself, sit down in a coffee shop, sit down and really say, obviously I want profitability out of trading, but in what manner do I want to do it? And then you can have an honest conversation, then you can build from there, and you take all of it into consideration in its entirety, and you can find where you sit, A, B, or C. Some people have multiple systems, by the way. Okay, there are some people that have longer term passive investments with regards to something like C. You might say that, venture capitalism, putting in 20 grand here, 20,000, 20,000, 20,000 in startups is as you can get. Yeah, more of them are going to die, startups, but the odd one is going to fly, and that counters everything else. So there's investment strategies all along this purple line of A, B, and C that we drew. So that's kind of how you need to identify, and you can have a diverse portfolio yourself. You can put some of your money into a slow burn in C with a lot of confirmation and build into that over time. And then you can have a little bit of capital used for your A's, which are basically maybe your news trading strategy. That's going to be very high risk reward ratio, but you get stopped out on 3 out of 4 of them. But the one that goes absolutely goes. That could be your A option, low confirmation, super high price, good risk reward ratio, poor hit rate, but offsets. And then you could have a mainstream B, which is a good combination of confirmation and risk reward ratios, which gives you quite a satisfactory hit rate. So you can stick to one, you can adopt a few, but all you need to do is horses for courses, identify what due diligence needs to be taken to create which world you want to be living in, basically.
Absolutely. Sounds great. Well, go. I'm sorry, go ahead, Tank.
No, I was just saying something like that.
Okay. Well, guys, we want to give a bit. Let's get. You don't have to put anything in the chat, but you can. Let's give that's an out loud clap. That's not a golf clap. And I think we get there. So thank you so much, Coach Tank. Guys, keep watching Tradeify TV in this stream. Coach Tank. We beg for Coach Tank to come on all the time. He's sadly he's a busy dude. He's got a lot of stuff going on, but we appreciate every second that he's here every week. We do have one more giveaway before we sign off for the day, guys, but we want to let Coach Tank go. Coach, thank you so much for being here. Absolutely fucking incredible stuff there. And guys, go back and watch this again. So Tank, thank you very much. Have
Pleasure.
a great rest of your day, and we will see you back on Tradeify
Thank
TV
you.
very soon.
Absolute
Tank.
pleasure. Absolute pleasure. And Miriam, I love the hair.
Oh, thank you.
I was confused at first, but thanks, great. But no, absolute pleasure, guys. I hope that was good value. And yeah, I'll catch up with you all soon, no doubt.
Appreciate you. Thank you
See
so
ya.
much.
Take care all. Bye
Thank
for now.
Bye
Ta-da.
bye.
All right, Nick, you want to tell everyone about this final giveaway we're going to do before we sign off for the day?
Yeah, let's do it. We're going to do a massive marble race now. One race for 4 winners, okay? The 3 top ones are going to get a 25K straight to funded account each, and the last one to actually finish also gets a 25K account straight to funded, of course. So the keyword for this is very simple. This keyword is captain confirmation because of Coach Tech. So only type it once, okay? Make sure you like the stream. Make sure you're subscribed. Captain confirmation is the keyword.
Is that 2 words, Nick?
That's 2 words, yeah.
2 words.
2 words, guys. Sorry. Captain space confirmation. There you go.
If you entered it wrong, you can enter it right correctly once.
Yeah,
So
you can.
Captain space confirmation.
Yeah, now people are doing it wrong. Anyways,
I love what Sylvanus Okic said. This is the best giveaway ever.
Yeah, I love that comment. I saw it. While Drew is setting that up, let's actually also go over our top 5 traders yesterday, and then also the leaderboard after. So yesterday, the top 5 live P&L was number 1, Hussein M with $9,240. We have Anchal with 2,800, Wilson with 2,430, John L with 1,826, and Kevin W with a W and $1,154. So congrats, guys. Now let's also look at our top 10 live traders currently. We still have PW, Patrick Wieland, in the top spot here, sitting on currently 181,000 of a total bag. We have Maretta S still in 2nd place. Then we have Mohammed D, 3rd place, Richard C, 4th place, and Sergey P in 5th place. We have Victor O in 6th place, then Qinghua in 7th place. I can't speak anymore. I spoke too much today. Kevin W in 8th place, then Anchal in 9th place, and Mahid C in 10th place. Congratulations, guys. These guys are absolutely crushing it and are getting coaching for free by Coach Tank. So if you want free coaching from Coach Tank, make sure you become a live trader at Tradeify. Easy as that.
I love it. I love it.
Oh, and we're ready for the
All right, we are ready for the giveaway. So we're doing, let's see, top 4 here, Nick?
No, top 3 and the last one.
Top 3 and the last to finish. All right, guys, we are ready to go.
And
let's let it go in 3, 2, 1.
And it's a short one, a 30-second sprint, a 36-second sprint, actually.
Oh my God, it's chaos.
Chaos as usual. All right. We got 6 in the lead so far. Still in the lead. Yulimar 2nd, liquidated 2nd. 6 still in the lead. Yulimar wins. 6 is 2nd. Then we got, is that Nia or Nia? Wait, I need to pull this up on the bigger screen. Oh, Neo. So Yulimar in 1st place, 6 in 2nd, and Neo in 3rd place. Congratulations, guys. And now we see who is going to be the last one. To finish this, he's also going to get a 25K account. Guys, make sure to type something really quick in the chat so we know you're there, and also add your email addresses to your YouTube channel description. The last person to finish this race was Green Turtle. Green Turtle? I can't read it properly, but congratulations. I got to pull it up on the big screen as well. It is Green Turtle, actually. Congratulations on winning a 25K straight to funded account. Make sure to write something really quick to claim your prize and add your emails to the channel description.
All right, guys. So this kind of brings us to a close. I was told to make sure you guys stay tuned in the Discord as well. There may be some announcements about some things later, or an extra stream later on in the day. So please, if you're not a member of the Tradeify Discord, just go to tradeify.co. There's a link on the homepage to join. Make sure you're doing that. For any announcements, they do discounts and stuff in there anytime we have a special guest or something on here. There's the invite. Thank you, Nightbot. And so make sure you are a part of the Tradeify Discord. Well, outstanding show today, guys. I know it wasn't the most, we had some price action. I know it wasn't the most exciting day as far as the price action, but one of the best shows we've done simply because we had Coach Tank on it. And so, guys, there was a lot going on with that. And again, he distilled about a 2-hour talk down into about an hour. So make sure you go back, watch it again, watch it with a notepad and a pen, take your notes. This is one of those things, guys, I can tell you, it's going to take you a couple times to make sure you're getting all the little nuggets of knowledge out of that. So with that, guys, I will say goodbye, and I will do what I normally do, which is we send it around the horn. Thank you guys for watching Tradeify TV once again on Tank Tuesday, on a Wednesday, on White Tea Wednesday. So let me kick it over to my good friend from across the pond, Nick, to continue sending us off.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Matt. And thank you, chat, for being here. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here every single day, like all the regulars, all the irregulars, all the new ones. I'm super happy to have you all here, and super happy that we can provide you with a lot of value, which it seems like we delivered on, or especially Coach Tank delivered on today. So yeah, from my end, I'll see you on Friday, because tomorrow is a market holiday. But of course, as usual, our one and only Matcha Mommy is going to end this stream.
Yep. Thank you guys so much for joining today. I hope you enjoyed the stream as much as I did. Like I said, I'm going to go back and review everything because I feel like I missed a few things. But we hope you guys enjoyed it. And as usual, please, please, please be safe today. Be safe today. Don't get chopped up in this, what's going on here. Make sure you're positioned as you should be. And as always, make sure you are also practicing gratitude. Remember that there's more to trading than just making money. So I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. And remember, go be great. We'll see you tomorrow or Friday.